The Gators are lurking in the swamp, and inside Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, the Florida faithful have arrived to cheer on Fred Taylor and 14 other Gator seniors in their final home game. But the garnet and gold-clad Florida State fans have made the 150-mile trip from Tallahassee to see if their Seminoles can cap a perfect regular season with a victory against their most bitter rival. It's number 1 Florida State versus number 10 Florida. Here come the Gators, number 1 in the nation earlier in the season, now number 10 with a record of 8-2. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to NASDAQ College Football on CBS Sports. I'm Sean McDonough. It's great to have you with us for the 40th meeting all time in this rivalry. It has become the most heated rivalry in all of college football, as we saw during the pregame warm-ups when the two teams had to be separated. Players and assistant coaches had to be separated by the officials. And in recent years, this has also become the most important rivalry in college football. As for the 10th consecutive meeting between these two teams, both will be ranked in the top 10 in the nation at game time. This year, Florida State, number 1, still on the path to a possible national championship and an appearance in the Orange Bowl. Florida State cannot defend its national title. Rather, Florida cannot. But the Gators still are thinking about an Alliance Bowl. And if they can't win the national title, they certainly would like to make sure the Seminoles don't. And I'm joined by Terry Donahue. Coach, when we talk about the number 1 team in the country, Florida State, obviously outstanding on offense and defense, but this year the defense has gotten a lot of attention.
Well, their defense has been superb, Sean. They're number 1 in the country against the rush, number 3 in total defense. They have 64 sacks on the year, and this year only 2 quarterbacks that have started against FSU have finished the game. They're led by Andre Wadsworth. He's the best defensive lineman in the country. He's equally adept at rushing the passer or stopping the run. He will play havoc in the Florida backfield this afternoon.
And the Seminoles have a veteran, experienced quarterback in Thad Busby. The Gators do not. Their quarterback situation still very much up in the air. Noah Brindise will start today, but we could see 3 QBs.
Well, Florida has been very unsettled at the quarterback position. Noah Brindise, he seems to move the team the best, and Steve Spurrier will go with him. But look for Doug Johnson and also Jesse Palmer, the backups, to have some time. Spurrier has designed certain plays for each of the quarterbacks, but I think the offensive line for Florida is the key. If they can punch some holes in the into the Florida State defense for Fred Taylor, their tailback. Taylor is the leading rusher in the Southeastern Conference. He can make a difference in today's game.
Down on the field, here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, last year Steve Spurrier complained that FSU got away with some late hits against then quarterback Danny Wuerffel. And while he says that late hit debate is history, Spurrier did tell me that he spoke to today's ACC officials about their interpretation of the late hit, and he's comfortable with it. Now, so far this season, just 2 of 10 opposing quarterbacks have gone the distance against FSU. So what can Noah Brindise expect? Seminole linebacker Lamont Green said he's going to get hit before he throws the ball, while he throws the ball, and if we're within a step while he's releasing, he's going to get hit again. FSU is once again the most penalized team in the ACC, but they've only been called for roughing the passer once this season. And ACC Assistant Commissioner Bradley Fairclough told me before the game, FSU is an aggressive team. They're not a dirty team. Guys?
Florida State won the toss and deferred, so Florida elected to receive the opening kickoff in front of this raucous sellout crowd in Gainesville. Sebastian Janikowski's kickoff bounces down to the 2. Bo Carroll, the true freshman, stopped shy of the 20-yard line. Down at the 17. Tackled by David Warren. Florida leads the all-time series 25-12-2, but since Steve Spurrier became the head coach at Florida, Florida State has the advantage. 5 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie. Coach Spurrier's quarterback today is Noah Brindise, the senior from Fort Myers. 3rd string when the season began, but now starting for the 3rd straight game. He's led them to victories over Vanderbilt and South Carolina the last 2 weeks. Much tougher foe today. He's on target to Travis McGriff on the first play from scrimmage out to the 24. Tay Cody made the tackle on the junior McGriff. Fred Taylor is the Gators' leading rusher, over 1,000 yards for the season, with Frazier, Ross, Jaquez Green, and Jamie Richardson. The rest of the skilled position players up front: Zach Pillar, Ryan Kalick, Wiley Rich, Cheston Blackshear, and Mo Collins. That offensive line has been in transition throughout. They're back to the combination that started the season and was effective early on. Taylor gets very little. A gain of 1. Shevin Smith up from his safety spot to make the tackle. That'll bring up third down and a short 3. Outstanding front 4 on defense for the Noles. Wadsworth with Julian Pittman, Jerry Johnson, and Greg Spires. The linebackers are the 3 leading tacklers on the team. Sam Coward, a Butkus Award finalist with Darrell Bush and Lamont Green. In the secondary, Samari Rolle, Shevin Smith, Dexter Jackson, and Tay Cody, a redshirt freshman. And movement along the defensive front.
Sean, the Florida offense drew the Florida State defense offsides.
Prior to the snap, offside on the defense, 5 yards, first down.
This was a very important first series for Steve Spurrier. Although the game has just begun, you want to get your offensive team off to a good start against the best defense in the country. Make a few first downs, keep the chains moving, keep your defense off the field.
Doug Johnson at quarterback. We expect to see all 3 quarterbacks play today. Johnson throws, and it is juggled and caught. What a catch at midfield by Jaquez Green.
Jaquez Green for Florida lined up at wide receiver. He's got 54 catches on the year. He's the outside man. He just runs down the field against man-to-man. Tay Cody, 27 on the coverage. Green turns around and catches the ball on the rebound. It's just a great individual effort by one of the best receivers in the Southeastern Conference.
That's his 55th catch of the year. Now it's Brandeis back in. Spurrier changing quarterbacks on virtually every play. Fred Taylor, lots of running room against the best rushing defense in the nation. He's out of bounds with a first down at the 37-yard line. Pushed out by Shevin Smith, and that's a gain of 12 for the senior in his last home game.
This was the lead draw play that Florida loves to run. Zach Pillar, the left tackle, he makes the key block. Watch him take the defensive end for Florida State and push him upfield, which opens the hole for number 21, Fred Taylor. So far, Florida is using the game plan that they used in the Sugar Bowl against Florida State.
Out of the shotgun, Doug Johnson back at quarterback. He was the starter at the beginning of the year. He goes deep, and it is just a little bit too long for Jaquez Green. He got behind Samari Rolle, who had the coverage, but the pass was a little bit too long.
In order to take some pressure off of the Florida passing game, they're going to run the lead draw today. And what it does, they let the wide receivers run down and show pass. They draw the defensive ends up the field. The fullback isolates on the linebacker, and then the tailback runs to daylight. That's exactly what happened a couple plays ago with Fred Taylor.
2nd and 10. No score, just underway. The Gators marching on their opening drive. Brandeis, the quarterback, handed to Taylor, and he ran into Sam Coward, the Noles' leading tackler, with 106 for the season, the senior from Jacksonville. As we mentioned a moment ago, he's one of the 3 finalists for the Butkus Award, which goes to the nation's best linebacker.
Sean, I think it's really interesting to watch the Florida offense work. They're shuffling their quarterbacks in and out. Highly unusual. Usually you let a quarterback have a series. You let him get settled in. But not Steve Spurrier today. It's Noah Brandeis, Doug Johnson, kind of alternating with certain plays.
Johnson has the stronger arm. He's in there on 3rd down and 10. Just a 4-man rush. Johnson throws short of a first down. The catch made by Jamie Richardson. He's at the 30, about 3 yards shy. And more often than not in this season, in this instance, Steve Spurrier has gone for the first down.
Well, Steve Spurrier told us yesterday he wanted to get the ball to Jaquez Green today. That's his big play wide receiver. Watch for Green on this play.
Timeout, Florida. Big fourth down play upcoming when we come back.
They've got a 3rd and 8 right now from the 29. Shotgun formation. Quarterback shot.
Dogs love Trump.
This is for my parents who believe in my dreams, and for myself, for my future.
If you think your disposable razor shaves as comfortably as Gillette Sensor XL, try Sensor XL. We bet you don't go back to disposables, because only Sensor XL has microfins for extra comfort.
Wow.
Take the Sensor XL challenge.
Sensor XL back.
Bet you don't go back.
The Best Western in New York City is conveniently located right in the middle of everything. Best Western, across the street from Ordinary.
She said it was rape.
Don't believe that.
He said it was a moment of passion.
This is a total fraud.
Brian Dennehy, Indefensible, the truth about Edward Brannigan, CBS Tuesday.
Capacity crowd on hand at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville. First big play of the game comes early. 4th down and 3 for Steve Spurrier and the Gators. They're going for it at the 30. The toss. Taylor pitches it to Jacquez Green. Johnson is wide open. Inside the 20. And out of bounds at the 12-yard line. What a play on 4th down.
Jacquez Green, remember, was a high school quarterback. Florida runs the reverse play here. And Jacquez Green is going to throw it back to the quarterback. But watch number 18. He's going to be wide open for a touchdown. Jacquez Green didn't see him. He laid it off to the quarterback, Doug Johnson, for the first down. But it could have been a touchdown for Florida.
And that was a late hit called against Chevin Smith out of bounds. And as a result, they've moved the ball inside the 7-yard line. Steve Spurrier, known for his bag of tricks, into that bag early. And now he is Brandeis back at quarterback. 1st and goal, Gators. Draw. Taylor. Dancing down near the 3-yard line. Darrell Bush made the stop for the Noles.
John, when you're in one of these big rivalry games, it's so important to get off to a good, positive start. You've built up the game all week in your players' minds. It's been in the press. Everybody's talking about it. And all of a sudden, if you can get a jump start, it does wonders for you the rest of the afternoon. And Steve Spurrier certainly has got a jump start with his offense.
An offense that has seen its confidence shaken in recent weeks. Johnson back in. Taylor right up the middle, touchdown.
This is the isolation play that Florida likes to run. Watch the fullback right there, number 40, Rod Frazier. He leads on Sam Kohler, the All-American linebacker from Florida State. That's the block that punches the ball into the end zone. Steve Spurrier happy with that opening drive. What a way for the offense to get going.
That's the kind of execution on offense we saw from the Gators in the first 5 games of the season as they moved their way to a #1 ranking. There is an injured player. It's Frazier, the fullback, who led the way into the end zone for Taylor.
Fullback athletes take an unbelievable beating during the course of the game. They're like running guards, and the collisions that they have with linebackers are violent. But it looks like Rod Frazier hurts his leg. Somehow his leg got twisted up into that pile.
Rod Frazier, redshirt freshman from Bradenton, younger brother of Tommy Frazier, the outstanding quarterback at Nebraska a couple of years ago. Rod traveled with Tommy Frazier to New York back in 1995 to watch the Heisman Trophy presentation when Tommy finished second to Eddie George.
I had Tommy Frazier in my last game as a coach at the East-West game. One of the most marvelous athletes I've ever been around on any field. He was a tremendously gifted quarterback.
Collins Cooper out of the hold of Billy Young, trying to make it 7-0. And that one is no good. That's been a problem. It's the 6th PAT missed by Cooper this year in 52 tries. 6-0 Florida. Doug Johnson back in the spotlight in Gainesville.
A company most people never heard of is changing the way we fight cancer and kidney failure. By inducing the body to produce blood cells, chemotherapy and anemia patients are gaining new strength. Helping to grow blood cells helped Amgen become the world's largest biotech company. Where do you learn about companies with such pioneering spirit? Exactly. NASDAQ.com.
This year, Nissan has performed a little magic on the new Altima. We made it roomier, we made it quieter, and we made it sleeker. But the real trick was making it for less. How? Sorry, magicians never reveal their secrets. The new Nissan Altima, starting at $15,000, $17,990, with a lot of stuff.
The best seat in the house today is inside the Bud One airship, aerial ambassador of the King of Beers. Hovering over the swamp on a beautiful day. Let's check into the sideline with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, Rod Frazier has sprained his right ankle. They've taken some supportive tape off. They're going to retape it, see what he can do on the sidelines. His return at this point is questionable, and we'll keep you posted.
And of course, they were already without Terry Jackson, who was their starting fullback at the beginning of the year. He went down for the season with a knee injury. He's recovering nicely. They expect he'll be back at full speed next year.
That's going to hurt him, Sean. Eugene McCaslin is a converted tailback playing fullback, which means he's not a great blocker. And that could hurt the lead draw play and the isolation play that have been so successful in that opening drive against Florida State.
Davey Ford, a true freshman, waiting for the kickoff from Robbie Stevenson. Stevenson doubles as the Gator punter. Gators fired up after the opening drive. They took the opening kickoff and marched 83 yards in 10 plays. Stevenson deep into the end zone, and Jermaine Stringer will down it. 19th touchback this year for Stevenson. That was his 67th kickoff. Well, the Seminoles, unaccustomed to playing from behind this season, trailing 7-0 as Thad Busby takes the field for the first time today. The senior from Pace, Florida. 3,098 yards passing this season for Busby. Needs 27 today to set their single season school record. With deafening noise, the background, the swing pass to Travis Minor. Javon Kearse combined with Tony George to make the tackle, but a quality gain for the Noles on first down out to the 26. Minor, the true freshman, their leading rusher, with Khalid Abdul, the fullback. Melvin Pearsall, an outstanding receiver, as are E.G. Green and Peter Warren. And up front, Ross Brannon, Jason Whitaker, Kevin Long, Donald Heaven, and Trey Thomas. The Florida State coaches think Thomas, the tight tackle, could be a high first-round pick in the next NFL draft. Second and 4. Busby, pressure, throws out of bounds. It was caught by E.G. Green, but he was out of bounds along the far sideline. Now the Florida defense, 10th of the nation in total defense. Rogers, Moten, McGrew, and Cohen's a front four that is healthier than it has been in recent weeks. Dwayne Thomas, the middle linebacker, with Johnny Rutledge, and the pass rushing specialist Javon Kearse. And the veteran secondary of Elijah Williams, Tony George, Tego Brown, and Fred Weary. Weary, a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award to the nation's best defensive back.
Sean, it's important that Florida State answer the bell here now. This is an important first down to try to generate some momentum of their own.
And the official stopping the play. And a timeout called by Florida. That leaves the Gators with just one timeout here in the first half.
Sony Trinitron. Sony surround sound. Cool.
It's one of the many combinations that can make great things happen in your home.
Next?
Any way you put it together, it's maximum television. Only from Sony.
Frankie, let me ask you a question.
Yeah?
These frogs, do they really taste like chicken?
I'm not answering that.
I'm just curious.
Stop it.
Come on, it's barbecue season. Would you marinate them? Would you slow cook them? We could toss them over a salad.
I rolled the dice for $8.
I unloaded my Tonka for $12.
Get the lowest commissions possible with Ameritrade. Internet trade for $8, touch-tone trade for $12, or trade with a broker just $18 no matter how many shares you trade.
We went to Club Med for $18.
Plus, your first 5 trades are commission-free when you open an account. Call 1-800-592-7694 or visit our website. Ameritrade. Smartest way to trade, period.
Budweiser. You stink. Get off the stage. Your mother's an iguana.
Hey, my mother's half iguana.
I'm sorry. I meant no disrespect.
Is this really John Kennedy's signature and Marilyn Monroe's signature on these incriminating documents? Meet the man who insists they are. Sunday on 60 Minutes.
6-0 Florida. Just more than 5 minutes played. Bobby Bowden's team, accustomed to coming out early and knocking its opponents on their heels. But today, the Seminoles knocked back a bit by the early Gator score, trying to keep this possession alive on 3rd down and 4. From their own 26, Busby chased out of the pocket short of the first down. Reggie McGrew made the tackle at the 28. Busby came up 2 yards shy.
Florida State tried to run a quarterback draw there with Thad Busby. It's a great call on 3rd down and short yardage like that. But the Florida defense inside, particularly 92 right there, Reggie McGrew, he's the one that reacted to it, got off the block, and made the play.
Keith Cottrell, the true freshman, in the punt. They come after him, and he got it off, and it's a beauty. Jamie Richardson backpedaled to the 23. Good moves in traffic. He's down to the 33. A 48-yard punt and a 10-yard return. David Warren made the tackle for Florida State.
Florida State loves to rush the passer with their defense. They bring their defensive ends up the field to try and contain the offense with as much pressure as they can, blitz a linebacker, and cover you man-to-man in the secondary. Florida State has 64 4 sacks on the year. Nobody does it any better.
And it is Eugene McCaslin at fullback now with Frazier out with the injury. Doug Johnson, the quarterback, throws low, but it is caught, it would appear. They are going to rule that a completion for Jaquez Green. Samari Rolle had the coverage. And that's a first down for the Gators out of the 45-yard line.
Sean, Steve Spurrier, that's a pass that Doug Johnson can throw with real heat. It's a curl route, and you want speed on this ball. And Florida does a good job, Jaquez Green, getting his hands underneath that ball. Noah Brandeis, he throws a softer ball, so he'll throw more swing passes and dump-off passes.
Brandeis back in at quarterback, and whistle stopped the play. Should point out this is an ACC officiating crew. That is the conference in which the Florida State Seminoles play. Terry McCauley is the referee. Movement before the snap. Brandeis back to the sideline. Florida State has been a highly penalized team this season, but Bobby Bowden asked us the other day the rhetorical question, did you ever know of a great team that didn't get a lot of penalties?
Well, and when you're real aggressive, you want an aggressive team. What you have to avoid, as Bobby Bowden said, is foolish penalties. Florida State's had some foolish penalties this year. That's the thing they want to try to get out of their system.
Doug Johnson back in, out of the shotgun on 1st and 15. Blitz, he throws, incomplete. There's a flag thrown in the secondary, a late flag. The flag hit the ground just about the same time the ball bounced past Jamie Richardson.
Oftentimes where that flag is thrown, Sean, it's going to be defensive holding or offensive pass interference.
Might have been a push off as one of the Florida receivers came out of his break. So Spurrier's offense, after an impressive opening drive, backing up in the Gators' second possession.
Steve Spurrier was talking to us yesterday about how much more the officials are letting defensive backs bang and use their hands, and also wide receivers pull and get away from defensive backs. So there's going to be battles going on, and the officials are going to let them play to some degree, but when it becomes flagrant, they're going to call it.
We've seen that this year. Spurrier compared it to schoolyard football, where the receiver just goes out and he and the defender beat on each other, and the best man comes away with the football. Another flag as Taylor took the handoff, but I believe the play was dead before he was tackled. There is no play.
Boy, as impressive as the first series was for Florida, this one is equally as unimpressive. They're going backwards.
The only good news for the Gators, it is still first down, but now they're looking at first down and 35. Johnson out of the shotgun. Throws short. Another low ball and a very short gain on the catch by Jaquez Green. Samari Rolle again had the coverage on Green. Spurrier told us yesterday if Florida is going to win today, Green has to have a big game.
Absolutely. Jaquez Green has got to touch the ball. He's their leading receiver. And Jamie Richardson, number 18 for Florida, he needs to come up big. Those are the powerful players that Florida has right now in their offense, along with Fred Taylor, the tailback.
Three wide receivers into the game, no tight end. Brandeis at quarterback. They'll keep it on the ground with Taylor on a delay. Darrell Bush tripped him up, although Taylor did lunge out of that tackle ahead for a couple of extra yards. And it'll be third down and a mile with Florida leading 6-0 more than midway through the first quarter.
That's about the fourth or fifth draw play that Florida has run already in this game in the first quarter. And the reason being is that they want to continually try to slow down that tremendous pass rush that Florida State has. They're going to do this throughout the entire game.
In the 90s, the team that has won the rushing battle has won the game with one exception. FSU's win back in 1995. Johnson, the quarterback. On 3rd and 26, he's going for more than that for Green, and he was double covered. Samari Rolle had the primary coverage, and he had help over the top from the safety, Dexter Jackson.
Sean, Florida State here should get great field position really for the first time in this quarter. And that's the kind of defensive series that Mickey Andrews, the defensive coordinator at Florida State, has used to seeing continuously throughout this year.
Robbie Stevenson to punt. He averages 41.5 per punt for the season. He has not had one block. Low line drive boot taken on a hop by Peter Warrick, and he's tackled immediately at the 31-yard line. Tony George with outstanding coverage, a 43-yard punt and a 3-yard return. NASDAQ college football continues here on CBS Sports. Next Friday, we'll give you a chance to digest your turkey while watching outstanding college football. 2:30 Eastern time. Some of you will see Arkansas against LSU, while others get the Big East battle between Pittsburgh and West Virginia. Then on Saturday, doubleheader coverage beginning at noon. Vanderbilt against number 5 Tennessee, Syracuse against Miami. Both important games in the conference and in the bowl picture. From the 31, 1st and 10 for the Noles. Busby chased back to the 10-yard line, and he threw it away. Buck Gurley provided the initial pressure. Johnny Rutledge chased Busby almost all the way back to Tallahassee.
One of the great things about Thad Busby is he's a smart quarterback, and he all season long he has thrown the ball away rather than take sacks. So he's not so concerned about his percentage of completions. He's sensitive as to field position. This is a great example. Busby unloading the ball, saving the yardage.
There was a penalty on the play against Florida for offsides. So a 5-yard penalty against the Gators, and it's 1st down and 5. That's a good point you make. Busby a 60% completion percentage for the year, but had he not been so adept at throwing the ball away, he'd be much higher than that. Busby showing his running ability. He has a 1st down out to the 42. The hit made by Tony George.
Johnny Rutledge, the great linebacker for Florida, he came on the blitz. Busby just pulled the ball down. Rutledge is right there. He will be the blitzer. He's unblocked. He comes unmolested here, and all of a sudden the quarterback just has to get rid of that ball and pull it down.
1st and 10 for the Seminoles. 6-0 Florida. The clock ticking down to 6 minutes remaining in the 1st quarter. Quick pop over the middle, and chopped down immediately was E.G. Green by Tico Brown.
A lot of strategy going on, Sean. Florida State came out and had 2 wide receivers to start the game and 2 running backs. Now they've changed. They've gone to 3 wide receivers and 1 running back. A lot of different maneuvering by both the defense and the offensive teams.
And no surprise that Florida State operates without a huddle. Busby, quick swing pass, nice moves by Minor, and he's down at the 50-yard line in the arms of Elijah Williams. Let's check into the studio. Here's Jim Nantz.
Well, fellas, a great day to pad the stats for Peyton Manning. Playing at Kentucky, this aerial feast saw Manning throw 3 touchdowns to Marcus Nash, 5 overall, 523 yards passing, and Tennessee is now 9-1. Back to Sean and Terry.
And with an eye toward the Heisman Trophy, he needed a big day because Charles Woodson had a huge day for Michigan.
You're not kidding. He needed to respond and did.
3rd down and short. 3rd and 2. Busby again out of the shotgun. Heavy rush. He throws. It's dropped by the tight end, Melvin Pearsall. Ordinarily an excellent receiver. He has 27 catches this year, but he couldn't grab that one that hit him right in the hands.
Melvin Pearsall was wide open in the seam, and in a game like Florida State, Florida, you've got to make this reception. You can't fault the quarterback on that one. Just lost concentration on the ball and let it get through those hands. He's got 10 touchdown receptions for his career. You would have thought that he would have come up with that ball.
Yeah, he's ordinarily sure-handed. Pete Cottrell, the true freshman from Orlando, high short punt. Fair catch made by Jaquez Green at the 19-yard line. Today's NASDAQ Scholar Athlete of the game is Darrell Bush of Florida State University. NASDAQ's commitment to the investment in our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to the Florida State General Scholarship Fund. Darrell was a first-team academic All-American last year, already has an undergraduate degree in finance with his 3.9 grade point average, and he's working toward a master's.
That's the kind of guy you want, a middle linebacker, adjusting your defense, being able to see set recognition.
Handoff by Brandeis. Taylor fumble. Sam Cowart picks it up. Touchdown Seminoles. Lamont Green knocked it out.
Lamont Green, the linebacker, came from all the way behind the play from across. It's right there. He will chase the ball down, knock it loose from behind. Right there. He strips that ball, and Sam Cowart, #1, picks it up, the All-American linebacker. The Seminoles, there's a reason they're #1 in the country against the rush.
And Sebastian Janikowski added the extra point. That's the third time this year Cowart has scored a touchdown. He recovered a fumble and returned it 24 yards for a score against Duke, and he dove on a loose ball in the end zone for a touchdown against Clemson. Now this one.
And Andre Wadsworth, #85, the All-American defensive end. He's the player that just put his headgear right on there, working against Taurus Ross, #88, the tight end. You got to give Wadsworth some credit on this play. It's not going to show up in the stats, but that's what happened.
Cowart, a senior from Jacksonville, missed all of last year, recovering from reconstructive knee surgery. Injury suffered in their Orange Bowl win against Notre Dame. And some thought he wouldn't come back at all from this injury from the 1996 Orange Bowl.
Sean, you were doing that game that night.
I was indeed.
I remember watching the game when he got hurt.
You could see back then he was number 56. He changed his number this year to #1 for a number of reasons. He said, #1, I've made God #1 in my life. #2, I want to be the #1 middle linebacker in the country. #3, I think we're going to have the #1 team in the country. That wasn't necessarily the order, but those were the 3 reasons why he went from number 56 to #1. And he is a finalist for the Butkus Award. One of 3. Kay Mays of North Carolina and Andy Katzenmoyer of Ohio State, the other 2 finalists. The winner will be announced on December 13th.
Well, and 3 touchdowns for a linebacker is impressive.
So Florida had momentum after the opening drive, but momentum has shifted quickly to the Seminole side. Janikowski, the true freshman from Daytona Beach, a native of Poland. He drove it to the back of the end zone, down by another true freshman, Bo Carroll. And the Gators begin at their own 20, trailing by a point with 4:26 left in the first quarter.
He almost kicked that ball to Poland. That thing came out of there, shot out of a cannon. What a leg that guy has.
They tell us in high school, only 2 of his kickoffs were returned. 80% of them went through the uprights. Well, that sounds like one of those stories that needs to be checked out, but apparently it has been checked out.
Well, last week he hit a 56-yard field goal against Wake Forest, so he's got the kind of leg strength that you love in a kicker.
Doug Johnson is the quarterback. Looking to set up a screen. Taylor gets a block from McCaslin. He has all kinds of room. There's a flag thrown. This will be coming back in all likelihood. Apparently McCaslin, while throwing that crucial block, grabbed a hold of the Florida State defender because the flag was thrown right at his feet. If the play stands, it's a 36-yard gain, but I doubt it.
Florida, again, trying to take some real pressure off the pass rush, trying to get some heat off that quarterback. Runs a beautiful screen play here. Number 32.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Number 32, McCaslin, the fullback. He is going to block right there. Sam Cowart, #1. He's going to try to pick him off to the inside. You can't really see. They leave the screen, but then his hand gets a little bit around the back. I don't know. That's a marginal holding call from this angle.
The that angle, looked like he had a little bit more of the jersey. And that's a key call because Power was the only man in the area, as you saw. Taylor rumbled a long way, but another key penalty against the Gators. Brindise, the inside handoff, and Bo Carroll went nowhere. It'll be second and long. Here's Michelle.
Well, guys, we learned the story behind that pregame fracas you saw between these two teams, and this is it. On the road, Florida State has a tradition of trampling the emblems on the opponent's field. The Gators had decided before the game they weren't going to stand for that, and when they saw the Seminoles start trampling their emblem, they went after them, and that's how it started, guys.
Just an old rivalry, Sean. Just one of those rivalries. That happens when the Bruins and the Trojans, or Ohio State, Michigan, that always happens.
Johnson throws short. Taylor fumbles again. That's a free football, and the Seminoles say they've recovered, and they have. Corey Simon came up with a free football. Shevin Smith knocked it free.
Shevin Smith, the walk-on strong safety. It's a little dump-off pass to Fred Taylor. It's a well-executed play by Johnson. It's a beautiful pass. Cowart comes up, misses the tackle. Shevin Smith comes up, puts his helmet on it, knocks it loose. Florida State is one of the best turnover teams in the country. They're third in the country in turnover ratio. It's because of that attacking, penetrating defense.
Great field position for the Seminoles. First and 10 at the 20 of Florida. Busby zips one incomplete. A little bit behind his intended target. He was looking for Lavernius Coles, and the pass was behind the sophomore from Jacksonville. Well, as Terry mentioned, Florida State is third in the nation in turnover margin. Plus 1.5 per game, plus 15 for the season coming in through 10 games. Only Colorado State and UCLA are better in takeaway giveaway ratio. 7-6 Seminoles. 3:10 left, first quarter. Underneath again. Short gain to the 17-yard line for E.G. Green. Reggie McGrew made the tackle. Another late flag thrown.
John, I think we're going to have a face mask call. Reggie McGrew looked like he grabbed a hold of that face mask. Reggie McGrew, number 92.
Oh, that's not a face
mask.
mask.
It really wasn't. It was on the neck. It was on the shoulder pads.
Yeah, he's got him around the neck there. He's got a hold of his top of his jersey under the neck.
Yeah, just a clothesline tackle, clearly a legal tackle. Big break for Florida State, huge break. You go back to that holding call against Florida on the screenplay, and now you have the face mask call against Florida. Steve Spurrier is going to want to talk to those officials again at halftime.
He'll want his own officials when they go to Tallahassee. Florida penalized 6 times already. Travis Minor stopped short of the first down. On 2nd and 2, he got a yard to the 11. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Keith Kelsey made the tackle. Minor is taken over as the leading runner for Warwick Dunn, who's gone on to the NFL, and he's made an immediate impact with Tampa Bay. A lot of similarities between Travis Minor and Warwick Dunn. They went to the same high school, Baton Rouge Catholic in Louisiana. Travis wore Warwick Dunn's FSU number 28 while he was in high school. At Florida State, he's decided to wear a different number because even though he knows and admires Warwick Dunn very much, he says, I want to be my own man.
He's a little bit different runner than Warwick Dunn too.
Big 3rd down play upcoming when we return to the Swamp.
You shouldn't have.
Don't know what to give? This year, give the Blockbuster gift card. Great for movie rentals, music, and a whole lot more. So instead of this...
You really, really shouldn't have.
Give the Blockbuster gift card. After all, 'tis better to give than return. Clueless on what to give? Honey? This year, give the Blockbuster gift card. Great for movie rentals, music, and a whole lot more. So instead of this... Honey, you're scaring me. Give the Blockbuster gift card. After all, 'tis better to give than return.
For years, you've heard the debate.
Duracell. Energizer.
Which battery lasts longer?
Duracell.
Recent tests prove that Duracell outlasts Energizer. Better make it the alkaline battery proven to last longer. Better make it Duracell.
You know, the real me is pretty basic. I'm even a little practical. Like a while back, I noticed I had some flakes. So naturally, I started using Head & Shoulders. It helps keep the flakes away. And if it leaves my hair looking like this, why mess with a good thing?
Welcome back to the Swamp. Sean McDonough with Terry Donahue and Michelle Tafoya. Deafening noise throughout. And third down in a yard upcoming for the Noles. Bob Stoops is the defensive coordinator, trying to stop Busby deep in Florida territory. Busby caught at the 5-yard line for a first down by Damian Harrell. Now Elijah Williams says, I have it, and the officials rule it incomplete. Looked like Harrell had it, and looks like he's injured now. But Williams came away from the pile with the ball as he and Tigo Brown converged on Harrell. The officials deemed it an incomplete pass, and Harrell still down.
Damian Harrell just runs a little slant route against that Florida press coverage. The ball hit him right in the hands. He had it temporarily. Elijah Williams stripped it out of there. The offensive line of Florida State did an excellent job with the protection, giving Thad Busby plenty of time to get that ball released.
Well, it looked like a good call. Didn't seem that Harrell had possession. Harrell's had major knee trouble in the past. Really has helped to sidetrack his career. Last year he redshirted while recovering from reconstructive knee surgery. As a matter of fact, he and Sam Cowart are roommates. They both spent last season on the sidelines working out together and inspiring each other to stick with the rehabilitation program so they could get back for this season.
Looks as though he hyperextended that right knee. He really reaches out here on this little slant route with that right leg and just got it planted and then came over the top of it.
He had to be carried off the field, as you see. So now it's Sebastian Janikowski to attempt a 28-yard field goal. He is perfect from inside 30 yards this year. 4 for 4. A left footer out of the hold of a backup quarterback, Marcus Outzen, right down the middle. And Florida State takes a 4-point lead. 10-6 Seminole. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. And let's get an update on Damian Harrell from Michelle Tafoya.
Well, guys, Damian Harrell, as you said, had knee trouble in the past, but this is his other knee. This is the right knee. They said he had ACL surgery on the left. Right now, they think it's a sprained right knee. They're going to look at it on the sidelines, and once again, return for this young man is questionable. We'll let you know.
Boy, bless his heart, Shauna. I've been there so many times in these big games, and these players prepare so hard. They work all year to play their arch rival, and then all of a sudden they get that kind of an injury so early in the ball game, or any time in the ball game for that matter.
Particularly from someone like Harrell, who's worked hard to overcome serious injury in the past. But looking at it from the broader point of view of this football game, that is a position at which Bobby Bowden is very deep. Wide receiver. They can run in 5 or 6, and there isn't much drop off.
And they like to play, as you mentioned, 5 or 6 receivers and keep running them down the field. And usually defenses only play 1 or 2 cornerbacks. So the idea is there's going to be fatigue that happens in the fourth quarter. Those cornerbacks are going to get tired. Those wide receivers are going to have the advantage.
Florida scored on its opening drive but missed the extra point. Now Florida State has capitalized on 2 Fred Taylor fumbles for 10 points. And it's 10-6 Seminoles with Janikowski to kick off to Elijah Williams. He's back deep with Mo Carroll. If you're in Atlanta, you better duck. That's coming into your living room.
I told you.
My goodness. Out of the back of the end zone. Just a very light breeze behind him.
From the Hallmark Hall of Fame, they thought he couldn't hear anything, so they told him everything. Matthew Modine, Tom Skerritt, and James Earl Jones in a world premiere movie, What the Deaf Man Heard. CBS Sunday.
Boy, you know, that kickoff is so important, Sean. All of a sudden, you always have the offense starting from the 20-yard line. You keep them backed up. You don't give them a chance to get a big play on a return. It's huge, not only field position, but psychologically.
Plenty of running room for Bo Carroll off the pass from Johnson, and he's out to the 46-yard line. Similar to the screen that was called back on the play to Taylor a moment ago. Dexter Jackson pushed Carroll out of bounds. Brandeis back at quarterback.
Bo Carroll, the tailback, he just slips out of the backfield. One of the things you like to do on play-action pass, you fake to the tailback and let him just slip a little 4 or 5 yard route. The linebackers get lost sometimes in that play action. That was the case there.
Brandeis hands it off to Carroll. Darrell Bush made the tackle for a loss of 2 back to the 45. Interesting now that it's Bo Carroll at tailback after the 2 fumbles by Taylor. Taylor's been firing away, their main ball carrier this year, and usually he doesn't put it on the ground.
No question. I'll tell you what you like to do, Sean. When somebody's starting to fumble in this kind of a game, bring them out for a while, set them down, settle them down, and then get them back in the game. I can't believe Fred Taylor won't eventually get back in this game. He's just too good.
Carroll's a true freshman. He has blazing speed. Doug Johnson on 2nd and 12. Hit as he throws, and the pass falls incomplete. Johnson got leveled by Julian Pittman.
Julian Pittman, all 290 pounds of him. He plays in the interior of the Florida State defense. Pittman along with Jerry Johnson, the 2 inside guys, they can put some pressure on you. That was Jerry Johnson, 92, with the almost the sack.
Yes, it was. Noah Brandeis back at quarterback, and Rod Frazier returns at fullback, lined up offset. He left earlier in the quarter with a leg injury.
There's the draw play.
On 3rd and 12, Steve Spurrier, with a very conservative call by his standards, thought he might catch the Noles by surprise, and he did not. Corey Simon and Samari Roll made the tackle, and Florida will punt. And Simon, who made the tackle, appears to have injured his left wrist. He's a backup defensive lineman, but he plays a bunch as Mickey Andrews plays 2 at virtually every position up front. Robbie Stevenson. Another line drive punt angled away from Warwick. Out of bounds on the fly. And it is spotted at the 20. Well, now he's backing up. The official ran to the 22-yard line. Now he backpedals to the 19. 4 seconds left in the quarter. Here at the Swamp, Florida electrified the crowd, scoring on its opening drive. 10 plays, 83 yards. Fred Taylor, a 3-yard run. They missed the extra point. And after a fumble by Fred Taylor, that fumble was run in 15 yards by Sam Cowart. Then after a second Taylor fumble, the Noles settled for a short field goal by Sebastian Janikowski. Florida State has it 1st and 10 from its own 19. Busby, play action fake to Minor, has a man. Look out, Peter Warwick is great at running after the catch. He ran into his own man Minor trying to help him downfield. Tony George knocked Warwick out of bounds at the 37, a gain of 18 on the final play of the first quarter. The score, Florida State 10, Florida 6. We'll return to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station.
We're back at Erickson Stadium where we're down to the final seconds of the game and it's still tied. The kick's high.
Ericsson mobile phones. Catch the excitement.
What are you thinking about out here? I don't know. I just don't think this perm looks natural.
Perm? You think you've got problems? Take a look at these split ends.
Men don't really talk about their hair, but they do want it under control. Pert Plus shampoo has built-in conditioners to give you that control. So until guys want more...
That's it. I'm bringing in Fisher. He's got those nice highlights.
Take control with Pert Plus.
For college football action, the address is CBS. Welcome home.
Can't follow your team from where you live? Now you can choose from up to 13 games a week. NFL Sunday Ticket. We've got your game.
Now you've got a second chance to see NFL Sunday Ticket. For just $179, you'll get the rest of this season plus all of the 98 regular season. Call DirecTV at 1-800-GET-SPORTS. C-band viewers call 1-888-NFL-0131.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila with the Craftsman Auto Lock, the latest breakthrough from Sears Craftsman Tools. How's it going under there, Stan?
Well, Bob, I've been doing a lot better if I didn't have to waste so much time adjusting these locking pliers.
Use these Craftsman Auto Lock locking pliers. They size themselves and lock tight with just one squeeze. Set the top jaw in place, squeeze the handles, and Auto Lock locks tight automatically. There's no screw adjustment for sizing, no on-again, off-again refitting. It's all done automatically. Hey, it looks like the whole family's discovered Auto Lock.
Yeah, it locks onto these rusted nuts and loosens them with one twist.
And remember, when you buy from Sears, your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So don't wait. Call now to order your Craftsman Auto Lock pliers.
For rush delivery, get your Sears card or other credit card ready and call 1-800-843-1199. That's 1-800-843-1199. Or send your check or money order for only $19.99 plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Call right now.
Inside Edition, weekdays at 5 on CBS.
Gators trying to feast on the Seminoles today, but after one quarter, FSU leads on a lovely afternoon for football. 73 degrees, a little bit on the humid side with the humidity at 87%. First play of the second quarter, 1st and 10. Minor eludes Mike Peterson, and then he was gang tackled at the 40-yard line. Sean McDonough with Terry Donahue. Very interesting strategy to start the ball game, coached by Steve Spurrier, alternating the quarterbacks after almost every play. Can you continue to do that for 4 quarters?
I think Steve will do it the entire game. He feels strongly that there are certain plays that Doug Johnson performs better and certain plays that Noah Brendai performs better. So he's going to do it the whole game.
Thad Busby likely to go the distance, barring injury, for Florida State. Travis Minor rips through the middle and into Florida territory with a first down. He's at the 49-yard line with a gain of 11. Tico Brown and Tony George made the tackle. And a late flag thrown. Likely to be for a personal foul against the Seminoles. And Bobby Bowden talked about avoiding foolish penalties, and this is what he's talking about.
After the play, personal foul on the offense, unnecessary roughness, 15 yards from the end of the run. They didn't make the first down, 1st and 10.
Melvin Pearsall is lucky, number 81, he wasn't ejected from the game for that infraction right there. And those are the kinds of things that really do bother you as a coach. Your team's playing well. You want guys to be aggressive. Just don't get carried away. And in that case, the tight end certainly got carried away.
I guess if you get your helmet knocked off, you're allowed the free shot in return, because certainly Peterson retaliated with a blow to the head of Pearsall that went unflagged.
John, there's not a warrior out there that won't retaliate when they get hit like that. They'll all retaliate.
Busby hands off on first down, and here goes Minor again. Out to the 49-yard line. Tony George and Fred Weary made the tackle. That's a gain of 13. And George is injured on the play.
This is what coaches refer to as a sprint draw play. It's a play where you want the ball deep to the tailback, and the right side of the Florida State offensive line does a great job opening up this hole for Travis Minor. When you get the ball deep to a tailback, he can use his vision and his cutting ability. And that's what the I formation, that's how it all came about. Get the ball deep, let a guy see the openings, and then run to him.
Florida State coaches this year have rotated 4 tailbacks. Davey Ford, also a true freshman. Ben Gooch, a redshirt freshman, and Dee Feaster, a junior, have all had the opportunity. But Mark Richt, the offensive coordinator, said it was too hard to evaluate them because they were all getting such limited action. And it was tough for any of the 4 of them to get into a rhythm. So late in the season, they have settled on Travis Minor.
Well, and they've been very happy with Travis Minor. And they said the interesting thing is that Travis Minor really turned it on against North Carolina. The same game that Warrick Dunn kind of came to life in. And therefore, the continuous comparisons between the 2 players.
George runs off the field. Matter of fact, Minor had 128 yards rushing in that game against North Carolina. Mac Brown, the Tar Heel coach, said after the game he watched the tape, and he said after a few minutes he wanted to get physically sick because Minor looked so much to him like Warrick Dunn. He said, here we go again for another 4 years. That's right. 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Florida State leads by 4, second quarter. That pass on target. Pearsall chopped down right away by Tico Brown. And Melvin is about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
This is one of the favorite Florida State plays over the years. They love to fake a run and then drag a tight end across the field. That's what they did with Pearsall there, just dragged him across the defense.
We mentioned at the top of the telecast, Busby needed 27 yards to start the day to become the single season passing record holder at Florida State, and he has surpassed now Peter Tom Willis. Willis established the mark back in 1989, went on to a pro football career. And the coaches think Busby will follow him to pro football. Quarterback draw out of the gun on 2nd and short. And Keith Kelsey made the tackle very close to the first down. He needed to reach the 41, and where that ball has been spotted, he's a 1/2 yard short.
But that Busby is a real mobile quarterback. He's got good size, he's strong. Florida State doesn't mind running the quarterback draw with him. They've already run it 3 times today. It gives them another dimension in the shotgun. When you only have 1 back in that formation, Sean, it's hard to generate a whole lot of running game. But if your quarterback can become a runner, you've added another dimension to it.
Tony George just had the wind knocked out of him. He's back in for the Florida defense as Busby uses that 6'3", 220-pound frame to pick up the first down on 3rd and less than 1 yard. The Seminoles move the chains with 12:20 remaining in the first half. One other injury update from the Florida State sideline. Michelle Tafoya informs us that they've changed, unfortunately, the diagnosis of Damian Harrell's injury. Now they think he has a torn ACL and he will not return. So it's more serious than they first thought. Minor in motion on 1st and 10. 4-man rush, well picked up, and the short pass is complete. They'll give him forward progress to the 38. Keith Kelsey made the tackle on E.G. Green cutting across the middle.
Boy, when you run those underneath crossing routes, as that play was, you take your life in your hands. When those linebackers don't drop, and you got guys like Keith Kelsey, 41, just lurching right there in the middle of that formation, they will light you up.
Saw Green go out of the game. Marvin Minnis, number 13, is checked in at wide receiver. He's a redshirt freshman. Lined up to the left of Busby. And that pass caught by Peter Warrick, and that's a first down for Florida State. Down at the 26-yard line. Seminoles on the move, leading by 4 points in the second quarter.
Peter Warrick was just working man-to-man against Fred Weary, number 24. He's up in press coverage. Warrick will run down and then break off inside quickly. He gets inside position. Give Thad Busby some credit. He really avoided the pressure up the middle, stood in there tall, and ripped that ball.
Busby's completed 4 in a row. He hands it off inside. Minor eludes the grasp of Javon Kearse, but he couldn't get away from Rod Grady. Grady, a freshman from Cuthbert, Georgia, has not played much this season. He's been a third-teamer on the depth chart for much of the year.
Javon Kearse got his hands on him first, then missed the tackle. And Javon Kearse comes from this side of the screen. They're going to run a sweep this way, and he has the play diagnosed, misses the tackle. Miner's a good back. It's hard to get him down, but Rod Grady, 47, comes over with the extra effort, makes the play.
Loss of 1 on the play. They try it the other way, and the same result for Miner. Elijah Williams there to greet him.
You know, this is interesting, Sean. Florida State, they establish their offense with the pass, and then they run the ball to keep you honest, if you will. And what Bobby Bowden's doing now, even though some of these plays aren't successful, it's forcing the Florida defense to play honestly. You can't just line up and come after the passer.
And interestingly, he credits Steve Spurrier for proving that philosophy can win a national championship. He said Steve won a championship by passing to set up the run. Busby on 3rd and long. Throws, man open. It's Minnis inside the 10 with a first down.
You mentioned earlier, Sean, that Florida State had all kinds of receivers. 5, 6, 7 guys all playing the game. We've got Minnis working on Tony George, number 1. Marvin Minnis, number 13, is just going man-to-man against Tony George. He gets off the line, uses those hands, runs an inside route, and again, Thad Busby puts the ball right on the target.
10th catch of the season for the redshirt freshman from Miami. Limited in recent weeks by shoulder trouble. No problem making that catch. First and goal from the 5-yard line. 3 receivers to the right. Busby under a blitz. Touchdown. Pearsall wide open. 2 yards into the end zone. th touchdown reception of his career for Melvin Pearsall. He's all alone now in Florida State history atop the touchdown reception list for tight ends. He had been tied with Lonnie Johnson.
Boy, this is good coaching by Florida State. Travis Miner, he's going to run over here. The tight end's going to slip out there. And sure enough, Thad Busby has both of them to hit.
The extra point made it 17-6 Seminoles.
My ancestor dreamt of winning the Highlands Open, but his golf wasn't up to par. So he designed a wider golf club for better control of his drive. Truly, wider is better.
Improve your drive with the Wide-Track Grand Prix Sports Sedan. Its unique Wide-Track design sets the wheels wider for better control on any course.
My family crest still bears the proverb, Nashleha Nasher.
The Wide-Track Grand Prix, driving excitement by Pontiac. Wider is better.
This holiday season,
Bond here.
Loose Lips.
Was it something I said?
Sink ships. On December 19th, the world belongs to Bond.
James Bond.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Rated PG-13. Starts December 19th.
Have you seen The Elf? The Elf does its magic with advanced photo system film. Presto, it's loaded. Now take super shots in 3 different sizes. Have you seen all the Elves? From Canon.
Oh man, just a sandwich? I almost left my soup on the bus.
Nothing turns an ordinary sandwich into a satisfying meal, like the taste of rich, wholesome Campbell's soup.
Hey, is that my soup?
No, your mother gave you chicken noodle soup.
Oh.
My mother gave me tomato.
Hey, here we go again.
Campbell's makes everything.
Better.
Gangbangers. For them, there are only 2 choices, prison or death. Now there's a third.
Think of this as your worst nightmare.
Chuck Norris runs Camp Justice, CBS tonight.
Florida State does a great job on this touchdown. Florida has Mike Pearson, number 29, and Keith Kelsey on the coverage, but the coverage was broken, and Melvin Pearsall was able just to slip outside underneath the 2 of them and wide open in the end zone.
We mentioned he moves out of the tie with Lonnie Johnson for #1 all-time, all by himself. Touchdown catches by a tight end at FSU. And what an impressive drive. The first long scoring drive by Florida State today. 81 yards, 13 plays. It took 6 minutes and 15 seconds off the clock. And on the drive, Thad Busby was 6 for 6.
I was really impressed with the way Busby hung in the pocket. Several times he got hit as he released the ball, but he showed some real courage and strength in the pocket.
Janikowski kicking into the light breeze this time. Doesn't prevent him from knocking it into the middle of the end zone where Bo Carroll downed it. Florida got off to a great start, perhaps rattling Florida State a little bit by alternating quarterbacks on each play. Scored a touchdown on the first drive, but since then it's been punts and fumbles.
These are the two things right there, Sean. That'll disrupt you as much as anything. You don't mind punting in a game like this. Your defensive teams are going to play well. You go in knowing you're going to punt, but what you tell your team before the game, hey fellas, let's avoid the turnovers. Don't turn it over.
Florida still has the edge in yardage. They've moved the football, but some key penalties and those 2 fumbles have really hurt the Gators. And Brandeis throws a screwball out of play to the right as he was under pressure.
Andre Wadsworth, the great defensive end, the left defensive end, working against Mo Collins, gave great second effort. He fell down and got up and then put pressure on the quarterback. It was exceptional effort by him.
Wadsworth, one of the greatest walk-ons in college football history. Came to Florida State as a walk-on. He weighed about 210 pounds when he graduated from high school. Coaches said he just wasn't far enough along as a football player to merit a scholarship. At the end of his redshirt freshman year, he was 245 and growing rapidly. Taylor looked like he had nowhere to go. He did a nice job to turn that into a 4-yard gain. Sam Coward and Lamont Green made the stop.
And you know, Sean, talking about Wadsworth, he played at a small Class A high school in Miami, and now he's a 500-pound bench presser. You know what the progress a guy can make with hard work and dedication. You look at that guy. He played nose guard last year inside the defense. This year they moved him outside the defense where he could get more one-on-one isolated pass rushes.
That move outside was an experiment that has worked pretty well, to say the least. Brandeis back in. He throws it high, caught by Jaquez Green. Green out to the 46-yard line. Sam Cowart had to race downfield to get involved in the tackle. 22-yard gain.
Jaquez Green has repeatedly come up with big plays for Florida, whether he throws a reverse pass, runs down the field and makes a reception. He's extremely athletic. He goes up and catches the ball in his hands. He's a hands catcher. A lot of receivers want to put that ball against the shoulder pads, not Green.
See the difference in the delivery between Brandeis and Johnson. Brandeis doesn't have quite as strong an arm, but he has enough to get that to Travis McGriff down to the 5-yard line.
Travis McGriff just runs down the right side of the field here, and Samari Rolle, number 2, he took the play action fake. He thought it was a run, and McGriff was just wide open all by himself. Brandeis laid it up there nicely.
50-yard gain.
Just when you think Florida's out of it, they strike.
First and goal from the 5. Johnson in the end zone. Touchdown, Travis McGriff.
It's a little crossing route that Florida runs against Florida State. McGriff lines up in the slot and runs outside. There's a receiver who comes inside, Jamie Richardson. They get a little pick action there, and he's wide open for the touchdown. When you play man-to-man down there, crossing routes cause defenders to run into each other.
McGriff with his 3rd touchdown reception of the season. He's a junior from Gainesville, the son of a former Gator standout wide receiver Lee McGriff back in the 70s. They're going for two. Originally, they moved the ball to the left hash mark, then put it back in the middle of the field. Right now, it's 17-12. They'll try to get within 3. Movement along the line, no flags. Brandeis throws incomplete. Even if that had been caught, it wouldn't have been good for 2. As the intended receiver, Jamie Richardson, was short of the end zone. Samari Rolle had the coverage. But it was a quick strike by the Gators, reminiscent of the Florida teams of yesteryear. CBS Sports coverage of NASDAQ college football will continue after a word from your local station.
For college football action, the address is CBS. Welcome home.
Taxi! Yo, cabman!
Giants boom, baby! Can't follow your team from where you live? Now you can choose from up to 13 games a week. NFL Sunday Ticket. We've got your game.
Now you've got a second chance to see NFL Sunday Ticket. For just $179, you'll get the rest of this season plus all of the 98 regular season. Call DirecTV at 1-800-GET-SPORTS. C-band viewers call 1-888-NFL-0131.
Hi, Bob Vila here to show you a unique new Craftsman tool no home should be without. Craftsman Handy-Cut utility cutters. The one tool you can count on for all kinds of tough cutting jobs. Craftsman Handy-Cut does the job of utility knives, carpet knives, shears, shop cutters, and more. Look how tough it is to make a good cut through this damaged garden hose with a utility knife. Craftsman Handy-Cut gets it done in one clean cut. It's a terrific small branch and shrub pruner. Shears or shop cutters can't trim vinyl flooring as easily as the Craftsman Handy-Cut. Use the Craftsman Handy-Cut to cut nearly any common household material, including rope, plastic, leather, vinyl, and rubber. Call now, and you can order your Craftsman Handy-Cut for only $19.99. And remember, when you buy from Sears, your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back.
To order your Craftsman Handy-Cut, get your Sears card or other credit card ready and call 1-800-772-2273. That's 1-800-772-2273. Call right now.
You're watching CBS.
Steve Spurrier was really upset that the two-point play failed, and the reason he was Jaquez Green, his best receiver, was wide open in the end zone, and they couldn't find him and get the ball to him.
Time for a little Band-Aid replacement on the sideline. Robbie Stevenson ready to kick off. Davey Ford and Vanez Gooch waiting for the kickoff. Jermaine Stringer back there as well, and he took the kickoff and couldn't get back to the 20. Made it as far as the 17-yard line. Tony George made the tackle. Well, that was a quick and impressive drive by Florida. We said reminiscent of yesteryear. 5 plays, 80 yards, just 1 minute and 39 seconds. And McGriff, the pass from Johnson. You have to be careful to notice which quarterback is completing the touchdown pass.
No question. Sean, I've been coaching a long time, and I don't remember any game that I coached in where quarterbacks alternated by plays. And that covers 29 years of coaching. That's how unusual what Steve Spurrier is doing.
Minor took the handoff, looked for a minute like it was a busted play, but upon further review, it appeared to be by design, and it's a gain out to the 31-yard line. That's a 14-yard pickup and a first down. The last 6 meetings, so many of them have been critical in determining not just the bragging rights in this state, and that's very important to these two teams, but on the larger picture, the national championship has largely been affected by the results of these games. And it was decided last year. Florida won its first, winning the rematch with Florida State in the Sugar Bowl. Busby keeps, and Thaddeus Bullard pulled him down after a gain of 1. You mentioned you've never seen a game in which the quarterbacks have alternated by play. Doug Johnson, we reported to the Gators this summer from baseball, could not complete his 1.5-mile fitness run. That immediately got him in Steve Spurrier's doghouse. Noah Brindise has battled a weight problem. Well, these guys are going to get in shape today, running on and off the field under these hot and humid conditions.
Well, what's interesting is that there's plays designed for each one of them, and you're taking advantage of your talent. It's good strategy.
2nd and 9. This time Busby handed off again, and they found something with this play. Minor out to the 45-yard line where Elijah Williams took him down, a pickup of 13 for the Noles.
This is a little draw play to Travis Minor, and again, what it does, it keeps the defense honest. When you line up in the shotgun and have your quarterback back here, those defensive linemen want to rush the passer. They come upfield, you slip the ball to the tailback, there's creases in the defense, you get positive yardage.
7 carries for 50 yards rushing now for Travis Minor. 5.5 minutes remaining first half. Florida State by 5. And Busby is 20-1 as a starter in his career, and he nearly threw an interception. It should have been. He hit Dwayne Thomas right between the 5 and the 2.
Thad Busby has been almost perfect today with his throwing. This pass, I don't know what in the world he thought he saw, but as you mentioned, he throws the ball right at Dwayne Thomas. Dwayne Thomas just didn't get his head around quick enough to make the reception for the defense.
Oh my
Hit him
goodness.
right in the middle. That's why he's playing linebacker and not wide receiver.
That's right. You mentioned Busby is 20-1 in his career as a starter. Of course, the only loss to the Gators in the national championship game. 2nd down and 10. Here comes a blitz. Pass caught by Pearsall, the tight end. And he is stopped right at the 49-yard line by Johnny Rutledge with help from Rod Grady. Pearsall's a senior from Lake Wales, Florida, in his 3rd year as the starting tight end at FSU. And he's coming off the biggest game of his career. Had 114 yards receiving last week against Wake Forest.
Last play was a nice job by Thad Busby getting the ball to Melvin Pearsall on the blitz. Florida brought a pressure blitz from the sideline, and Busby picked it up and unloaded it just in time.
Neither team has a sack. And with the noise deafening, Busby uses a timeout. 4:38 remaining in the first half in Gainesville.
In 1984, 2 computer scientists envisioned the impossible, a seamless network of computer networks. They invented the router, and Cisco Systems was born. Out of Cisco came internetworking, and now directing millions of messages a day. Their equipment makes the internet possible. Cisco will be there as web users soar to 200 million by the year 2000. Where do you learn about companies so integrated into the future? Exactly. NASDAQ.com.
Wouldn't you rather have something under the hood than on it? This is the supercharged Bonneville. One of the world's most powerful sports sedans. Inside and out. It's time traditional luxury collected some dust. Luxury with attitude. The Bonneville by Pontiac.
Jim Nantz back live in New York, coming up on the College Football Today halftime report. Lou Holtz joins me here in the studio. Craig James live from the Swamp. All the scores and highlights. Notre Dame just went final seconds ago. Ron Paulus wins in his final home game. A late touchdown pass to Bobby Brown, the difference as the Irish beat West Virginia 21-14. All the stories at halftime right now. Back to the game.
Irish appear to be on their way to a bowl game now. Here at the Swamp. 3rd down and 6 from midfield for Florida State. The Noles lead by 5. Busby flush. Busby throws on the run, and it is incomplete. He had Warwick open, but the pass was just short. And the noise has pinned our decibel meter down below. Looked like Busbury's primary receiver on that play fell down. E.G. Green, he tripped and fell. And he was open, but he just stumbled at about the 35-yard line of Florida. Keith Cottrell will punt it away to Jaquez Green.
Looks like Florida's going to come on a punt block here.
Cottrell was a quarterback in high school. Something to keep in mind. Bad punt caught on the run by Green. Bad direction by Green for just a moment, but here he goes. Jaquez Green. Out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Chased out by Khalid Abdullah, a 31-yard punt, but a 28-yard return.
You talk about a guy doing it all on his own. There's not many blocks on this punt return. There's a couple, but this guy's just able to bob and weave his way through the Florida State coverage team, and then he turns on the speed, and Abdul, he makes the play and saves the touchdown run.
Green returned a punt for a touchdown last week against South Carolina, has returned 2 for scores this year. Doug Johnson, the quarterback. 5-point lead for Florida State. Just over 4 minutes remaining in the half. Fred Taylor across midfield and then down at the FSU 49 in the arms of Corey Simon, whose shoulder popped out earlier in the half, and Corey's back in there now for the Noles.
You knew that Florida was going to get Fred Taylor back in the ball game as well. That gives them a lot better opportunity to keep their running game alive. Take some heat off the quarterbacks as they shuffle in and out.
Taylor started the day needing 87 yards to reach 3,000 for his career rushing. He's number 4 all time at Florida in rushing. Bad snap and a flag thrown. Larry Smith might have been across the line before the snap.
Prior to the snap, offside on the defense, violation of the neutral zone, still second down.
Florida State loves to get off on the snap of the ball. It's one of the things they teach. Larry Smith lined up right here, just gets a little anxious. He's right over the ball. When the center raised his head, he thought he snapped the ball and he took off.
Smith back to the sideline. Johnson out of the shotgun on second and short, going deep for Richardson. Incomplete. Crowd wanted to call on Tay Cody, but that pass wasn't catchable. It landed about 5 yards out of bounds, and there wasn't a whole lot of contact along that sideline either.
Well, there's some contact whenever you play offense as a receiver or defense as a defensive back. There's going to be some contact. He gets his hand out there a little bit, but you know, that's, to me, incidental contact. It goes both ways on that.
As you said earlier, the officials have been allowing that and some more this year on the perimeter. Brandeis back in. Third down, a long one. Nearly 2 yards to go. Taylor, first down at the 40, chopped down by Shevin Smith.
The last few minutes of this game, Sean, the Florida offensive line is starting to gain some advantage. They're coming off the ball. They're aggressive. They're starting to reestablish the line of scrimmage. They've done a good job protecting the quarterback, but they're also starting to punch some holes in that Florida State defense.
Steve Spurrier has been looking for the right combination of the offensive line all year. He's started 7 different combinations. 9 different offensive linemen have started a game this year. Green, the fade stop and the catch made at the 24-yard line. He pulled up right in front of Tay Cody to make the catch. And that's a first down on a 16-yard gain.
Well, Steve Spurrier said he was going to work real hard to get the ball to Jaquez Green, and sure enough, Jaquez Green has come up huge in this first half. He's working against Tay Cody, 27. He just outleaps him, and watch the concentration and the hand strength. He held onto that ball with his fingertips.
Brandeis back at quarterback. First and 10 at the 23. A touchdown would give the Gators the lead. Taylor tripped up, but that's a quality gain down to the 16-yard line. Dexter Jackson had him by the ankles.
Sean, one of the dramatic things about this game that strikes me are the huge momentum shifts that we've had. Florida, early momentum, then Florida State, then Florida, back to Florida State, now Florida again.
And really, Terry, Florida has moved the ball more crisply, but the big penalties and the turnovers have been the big story of the first half. Johnson back at quarterback. 2nd and 3. Johnson with a lot of time. Zings one. Incomplete. Contact and flags thrown. Nafis Kareem, the intended receiver, he got knocked down by Shevin Smith, and 2 officials threw the flag on that play.
Nafis Kareem just running against man-to-man coverage, and Shevin Smith on the coverage gets there a little bit early and gets that shoulder pad into him. It's a good call by the officials. And Fred Taylor, did he throw a block which enabled the ball to get released? He pounded the linebacker on the blitz.
Pass interference on the defense. Penalized at the spot of the foul. First down.
Shevin Smith, the senior from Miami, also a walk-on when he arrived at FSU.
Watch the block right here on the linebacker. Cowart, the All-American from FSU, was just cut down right there by Fred Taylor. That enabled the ball to get launched.
Brandeis from the 4, hands it off. Taylor untouched for a touchdown.
Interior of the Florida line gets a push, and the tailback Taylor's able to cut back into that huge void. When you get a push at the line of scrimmage, it creates running lanes, and the Florida offensive line did that.
Once again, the Gators will go for 2. 2nd touchdown run of the day for Fred Taylor, the senior from Belglade, Florida. And Johnson wants a timeout. Play clock was still at 9, but he didn't like what he saw as he surveyed the field. Florida has the lead, less than 2 minutes left in the half.
Mark, if you're at the airport before my 8 o'clock flight, maybe we can talk. Otherwise, it's over.
Ah! Come on. I'll start. Oh, no. That battery.
No matter what my customers drive, they depend on AC Delco batteries. They last up to 30% longer.
I'm sure they do. Just give me the generic equivalent, okay?
AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Best Western on Lake Tahoe features a dock with boat rentals. Best Western, across the street from Ordinary.
Dang it! How do I get the game on this thing?
Uncle Ned.
What?
That's not the TV.
Well, what is it?
Here, watch.
At Packard Bell, we torture test every computer we make, so they can pass the toughest test of all, home.
Safe.
He was out.
Packard Bell, the computer the world comes home to. Featuring the Intel Pentium 2 processor.
How do I get the news on this thing?
Well, this has been everything you would expect and hope for from these 2 heated rivals. Florida leads by a point. And the Gators are going for 2 with 1:47 left of the half. And even after the timeout, some confusion on the sideline. Perhaps as Steve Spurrier saw the defensive personnel, he's decided to change his as a result.
Steve Spurrier was the one that dramatically wanted to call that timeout. He ran all the way down to about the 20-yard line to get his team's attention to get that timeout called.
Well, they don't have a timeout remaining, and with this confusion, they're a little bit harried as they come to the line with 5 seconds on the play clock. Johnson in trouble. Still in trouble. Throws it up for grabs. Green got one hand on it, but could not make the catch. And some of that, coach, has to be blamed on the sideline because they had a timeout to get the personnel they wanted, the play they wanted, and obviously there was confusion once they tried to go for the 2.
And what happens to you, Sean, you get all these players around you, and they're big, and they got these pads on. Sometimes you can't find the right guys that you want to get in there, and you assume that you're talking to the team that's going to be on the field, and then you look out there and you don't have the right guys on there. And that's exactly what happened to Florida that time. That's why the late substitution.
So the conversion has been the problem. And there's Steve. He wanted the same play, just changed the personnel. He's telling him go ahead. But meanwhile, the play clock was down about 10. Johnson, yeah, was this the play? This the formation?
Yeah, I tell you what, it looks easy. There's a lot of confusion going on those sidelines, and sometimes the biggest problem is making sure you just have the right group of players around you so you can get them in there.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but they did have a whole timeout to
no question
sort it out.
No question about it.
So they haven't had a successful conversion yet. The first one was a point after with the kick that was wide right.
It's interesting.
Since then, they've had 2 passes fail on tries for 2.
A lot of coaches go by the chart that tells them when to go for 2. Other coaches kick the ball until the final quarter and then go by the chart. I always believed in kicking the ball early because you never knew what was down the road. And even though the chart said go for 2, I'd kick it until the 4th quarter.
Jermaine Stringer takes the kickoff from Robbie Stevenson and downs it. Last weekend, we asked the fans to choose college football's all-time greatest game. Now let's check out the results of the Packard Bell CBS Sportsline all-time greats poll. You saw the list, and the winner was the Nebraska-Oklahoma game from November of 1971. Edged the miracle pass by Boston College from Doug Flutie to Gerard Phelan. Just one timeout left for Florida State. Bear in mind, Janikowski has a great leg, so at the very least they could get into position for a long field goal try. With this fast break offense, perhaps even better than that. Oh, that pass almost picked off by Javon Kearse. It was a simple dump off to Travis Minor, but it was a lot less simple when Kearse got a hand on it.
Thad Busby has thrown 2 very dangerous passes today. Almost both of them intercepted. Both of them dropped by the Florida defense. This one, Javon Kearse just did a great job. He rushed, then all of a sudden he pulled out and went into coverage and almost got himself a pick.
2nd and 10. Minor puts his head down and is down with a first down at the 33. Keith Kelsey made the stop.
That was a great run by Minor. The only thing he failed to do is try to get the ball out of bounds. You're in a drive. The nice thing is in college football, the clock stops until the chains move. But he needed to try and fight that ball and get it out of bounds.
Clock running now as they have moved the chains. 1:25 left in the half. One timeout left for Florida State. The Noles trailed by a point. Busby going long for Warwick. Batted down on a great defensive play by Weary.
Peter Warwick had beaten Fred Weary on a streak pattern. He had used his speed, but the recovery speed of Fred Weary is what saved him on this play. Warwick outruns him, gets him on his heels. The ball is thrown well, but all of a sudden, that last little burst there by Fred Weary, that's why he's one of the Thorpe finalists this year for the best defensive back in America.
Busby hit as he delivers. It is intercepted. Tico Brown across midfield and down at the 34-yard line. Ed Chester put the hit on Busby as he delivered, and Brown ran it back 25 yards after the interception.
Ed Chester, number 94, is healthy. The Florida front is healthier than it's been all year long. They put the heat He comes right in from that position. He gets double teamed, splits the double team, knocks the quarterback into a bad throw, and Tico Brown is right there on the spot with the key interception.
His 6th of the year. He's a junior from Miami. 1st and 10 of the 34 of Florida State. Johnson going deep for Green. Incomplete. Another ball that might not have been catchable. Tay Cody had the coverage. So 1:01 remaining and no timeouts left for Florida, and Green is still down at the 5-yard line.
Boy, now that's one guy on the Florida team they can't afford to lose. He is such a key performer.
Green in the first half, 5 catches for 70 yards and a big 28-yard punt return that set up the go-ahead score by the Gators.
In addition to a throwback to the quarterback that helped set up a score.
On the opening drive on the 4th down play.
Looks like it is not serious. It looks like he just got his foot caught underneath, just tangled up in there and got a shin or an ankle.
Johnson again, the quarterback, on 2nd and 10. The handoff to Taylor, and he's tackled immediately by Tony Bryant.
Now Florida can't substitute quarterbacks here. They're in 2-minute offense. They have no timeouts left, so Johnson has to take this drive by himself, and they can't waste very much time trying to huddle up. They just need to get to the line and run plays.
He's the more physically talented of the 2 quarterbacks. Brandeis usually makes more dependable decisions. Travis McGriff, the intended receiver, as Jaquez Green limps toward the locker room with a right ankle injury.
Well, that could have huge ramifications in the second half if he can't return to the ball game. Takes a major threat out of the Florida offense.
On 4th and 9, just inside the 34-yard line, Florida lining up for a 51-yard field goal, and Florida State has used its final timeout. 33 seconds remaining in the first half.
The way you do things means a lot.
The way you do the things, the way you do all things.
And if you want things done well, you want to use Whirlpool. So many people do. It's no wonder that Whirlpool is #1 in customer satisfaction. Whirlpool helps you do the things you need to do so that you can do the things you want to do. Now that is a job well done.
I had no idea of playing baseball for a living because all the people I saw playing was white. That's Oscar Charleston.
Okay, put Oscar in his column.
All right.
Now you have a baseball card.
People want to know the history of Negro League baseball. This should be passed on. I would sell baseball cards over the internet. Huh?
You could.
Who would have heard of the internet? The whole world will be able to see and hear what I'm saying. That's progress. Woo!
Collins Cooper trying what would be by far the longest field goal of his career. His previous long is 40. This is a 50-yard try. A light breeze at his back. Billy Young, a quarterback, is the holder. That is not going to get there. Accurate but short by Collins Cooper, the junior from Jacksonville. And it's still a 1-point lead for the Gators with 27 seconds left in the half, and neither team in possession of a timeout.
Well, he hit it good, and he hit it straight. It was right on target. It just didn't have quite enough oomph in it to get over that crossbar. Steve trying to give it a little body language there, get it over.
I think you knew that was unlikely field goal to be made by Cooper, but with such little time remaining, you don't mind giving the Noles the ball at the 33. Halftime report upcoming. 27 seconds of game action. Busby takes a knee. Florida State doesn't have a timeout to work with, so it'll be very difficult to do anything with less than a half-minute remaining. What a first half this has been. The #1 team in the country, Florida State, heads to the locker room down by a point, knowing very well. The other #1 team in the nation, Michigan, is still undefeated with a win today. Here's Michelle.
Well, you take a lead in at halftime. Why is the alternating quarterback thing working, and will you stay with it?
No, we just thought both of them deserved to play probably, and hopefully something good will happen. But, yeah, it's a close game. Anything can happen. I hope those extra points don't come back to haunt us.
Defensively, you wanted your secondary to hold up, and you wanted your line to pressure Busby. How happy are you with those efforts?
We've done pretty well. They've run the draw play too well. But it's a good game. Everybody's playing hard.
Good luck, Coach.
The end of the first half, the score, Florida 18, Florida State 17. Jim Nantz, Craig James, and Lou Holtz be along with College Football Today right after this word from your local station. Back at Florida Field, ready for the start of the second half. And Florida State will receive the second half kickoff. Lavernius Coles back at the goal line with Jermaine Stringer waiting for the boot from Robbie Stevenson. And we're underway in the second half. Coles takes it and downs it. So Florida State trails by a point in a must-win situation if they want to remain #1 in at least one of the polls. Thad Busby opens with Minor, the lone back, and 3 wide receivers. Screen. Minor got a good block. Minor across the 35 and out of bounds at the 41-yard line. He followed the block of the guard, Donald Heaven. And Dwayne Thomas and Mike Harris combined on the stop. A 21-yard pickup on the first play of the second half.
A great call by Bobby Bowden and his staff. They had a lot of pressure in the first half by that Florida defense. 2 interceptions were dropped by the Florida defense. 1 interception gotten by them. They got out here with a screen to take pressure off right away.
Busby threw off the wrong foot while backing up. E.G. Green was wide open at about the Florida 40, but the pass didn't have enough on it. With Busby off balance as he threw on the move. It looked like Thad had enough room to set himself and deliver a ball with more on it.
This is where Bobby Bowden hopes that his wide receivers are going to be able to wear down the Florida defensive backs because they play 6 or 7 wideouts.
Minor running left. Fumble the football. And it's recovered by the Noles at the 48-yard line. Javon Kearse pulled the ball out. And it looked like Ross Brannon, the tackle, dove on the free football at the 48-yard line.
It was a great play by Javon Kearse, number 42. He came all the way from this side of the field to make a play over there with just great hustle. And he came over and stripped the ball. Knocked it loose, and it was a fumble.
Third down, a long 3. Busby back in the shotgun. 1 minute played, second half. Florida has a 1-point lead. Busby forced from the pocket. Has a man open, E.G. Green. Down to the 30-yard line. Pulled out of bounds by Tony George and Mike Harris. A huge third down conversion for the Seminoles, a gain of 22.
Florida State got the matchup that they wanted here. They put E.G. Green in the slot, and he matches up against a strong safety athlete who's not as good a cover man as a corner. And it was a great route by E.G. Green. Got wide open.
Green with at least 1 reception in 38 straight games. That's a Florida State record. He's a senior from Fort Walton Beach. 4 catches today for Green. Inside handoff. Miner didn't get far. Just more than a minute into the second half. Let's check the statistics from the first half. Florida had a 1-point lead. First downs even. Rushing yard edge to Florida State, but the passing edge dramatically in favor of Florida. And interesting that Doug Johnson attempted 15 passes while Noah Brindise attempted only 4.
Well, when you're playing against a speed defense like Florida State has, you need speed on the ball, and that's what Doug Johnson brings to Florida. More speed than Noah Brindise.
Miner cut it back through the middle and went to the 25-yard line, where he was tackled by Reggie McGrew. There are the quarterback numbers, of which we were speaking a moment ago. Of course, Brindise had the one big completion to McGriff on a 49-yard play. Set up a score late in the half. Steve Spurrier on his way to the locker room ruining the missed conversion. They have not converted after a touchdown. Another third down conversion upcoming for Florida State on 3rd and 5. They'll try to move the chain. That throw on the money. E.G. Green, first down Seminoles. Green down at the 12-yard line.
The Florida State coaches said before the game they liked how they matched up outside against Florida. And what's happening is E.G. Green is in the slot, so he gets to work against a strong safety or a nickelback who is not as good a cover man, and consequently they're finding seams in there for him to work, and he's doing a great job getting open, beating man-to-man coverage when it's man or getting open against zone.
He has 52 catches for the year now. First down and 10 from the 12. Miner running left. 3-yard gain to the 9. On the previous play, Tico Brown made the tackle. While making the tackle, he got hit by one of his own teammates, and he left the field favoring his left arm. Rod Grady, the reserve safety, has taken his place and is still in there with second down upcoming.
Sean, Travis Miner certainly has not appeared to be a true freshman in this game. You're talking about he plays for the #1 team in the country, but this is a huge rivalry game. Oftentimes freshmen go in there and the pressure, quite frankly, is what gets them. But this guy has responded to the pressure. He looks magnificent from up here.
3 wide receivers to the right. On second down, the pass batted down, and there's a flag down on the far side of the field, thrown at the line of scrimmage. Javon Kearse knocked down the pass. Well, let's check out the flag. Illegal motion against the Seminoles. So a decision for Steve Spurrier. He wants them to turn this down. He wants 3rd and 7 instead of 2nd and 12.
Motion on the offense. Penalties decline. 3rd down.
Javon Kearse just leaps up with his vertical leap and just bats this ball down. He's got great jumping ability. That's hard to throw a pass over that kind of a guy with his hands up. He's one of the great athletes on Florida's team.
Coaches talk about his exceptionally long arms that really helps him as well, both in rushing the passer and batting down passes. 3rd down and 7. Forced to throw it short, and Miner's in trouble. Down back at the 13-yard line. Tony George, the first hit. Javon Kearse helped out, and the field goal unit comes on for Coach Bowden.
The defensive line did a great job. Mike Moten, number 90, he's the guy that felt out that little screen pass. He came on an inside twist stunt, came to the outside, and number 90, he chased it down and strung it out so that number 1, Tony George, could finally get him down and make the tackle along with the rest of the Florida defense.
Sebastian Janikowski, 1 for 1 today. Just to give Florida State the lead, and it is good from 31 yards. The Noles go back on top by 2.
trying this in just any car.
Why did this happen again? Why do we both have colds? And he's perky and I'm coughing and sneezing, just like last year. Like I didn't learn my lesson. Like if you take NyQuil at night, you can have a good morning. Why? Because last night I was going to take NyQuil, but he got to it first. And guess what happened? So he got relief and I didn't. So he got rest and I didn't.
Vicks NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest and have a good morning medicine.
You probably have brushing your teeth.
Is this a trick question?
We can't just clean the front of things.
Why not? That's all you see.
The dentist told Mommy problems can start where we can't see.
Introducing the Crest Multi-Clean Toothbrush. It not only cleans deep between teeth, its cup-shaped design surrounds and helps clean all around every tooth, even some places you can't see.
Mom, you don't miss a thing.
New Crest Multi-Clean. Fits between to get teeth clean.
There's a Best Western located close to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Best Western, across the street from Ordinary.
Sean McDonough with Terry Donahue and Michelle Tafoya back in Gainesville, Florida. Back and forth game throughout Florida State. With the opening kickoff of the second half, marched deep into Florida territory, and Janikowski kicked a field goal of 31 yards to give the Noles a 2-point lead. Now Janikowski's kickoff sailed over the head of Bo Carroll and through the back of the end zone. So the Gators will begin at the 20. Let's get an update on the status of Jaquez Green from Michelle.
Well, Sean, the reason they took Jaquez into the locker room a few minutes before halftime is they wanted to get a jump on that injury, and it looks like they did. It is a sprained right ankle. They have taped it up, and they do expect him to play as much in the second half as he did in the first.
And he had a very active first half, including the 5 catches, but that wasn't all he did. Noah Brindise takes the first snap of the second half at quarterback and throws a floater in the flat for Taylor. He's tackled by Darrell Bush, but that's a first down out to the 32-yard line. Green again today showing his versatility, ability to catch, run, and throw. Here's an acrobatic catch among the 5. And yet
the great
another.
Concentration here, Sean. He just hangs onto that ball in those fingertips, and sure enough comes up with a great reception.
He threw a pass for completion to Doug Johnson on a 4th down play on the opening drive. He returned a punt 28 yards. That got them started on a scoring drive. Taylor threw a nice hole off a left tackle. Managed to pull out of that tackle around the ankles by Shevin Smith for an extra yard or 2. Taylor out to the 39-yard line, about 2 yards short of the first down.
One of the things about Fred Taylor today, he's attacking the line of scrimmage. He's running downhill. He's got his shoulder pads turned down the field, and he's going after the Florida State defensive line, and the Florida offensive line is able to hold their own. They've been good not only in the running game, but not giving up a bunch of sacks.
Brindise at quarterback. 2nd down and 2. Play action fake. Brindise pressured through a little lofting pass over the middle, and he was lucky that that wasn't picked off. Taris Ross, the tight end, the intended receiver, and Shevin Smith went diving in front of it. Greg Spires was putting the heat on Brindise.
Nobody blocked Greg Spires, Sean. He just came off the corner as clean as he could and just put tremendous pressure on Brindise. Brindise is asking the coach, who's supposed to block that guy? Get somebody on that guy.
Florida State, the best team against the run in the nation. Florida's rushed for 51 yards today. Johnson back in on 3rd down and 2. Everybody up on the line for the Florida State defense, and Taylor runs right by them. Fred Taylor may go. Touchdown, Florida!
Gets the block of the fullback, number 40 on Darrell Bush, the middle linebacker. Bush couldn't get off the block quick enough. That's exactly one of the plays they ran against Florida State in the Sugar Bowl, also for a touchdown. The sweep to Fred Taylor.
Collins Cooper, they'll try to kick the extra point here. They haven't had a conversion today. Cooper missed his only try. And if a two-point conversion passes fall incomplete, but now they have a conversion and a 5-point lead on the longest run of Fred Taylor's career, 61 yards.
Oh, if only I could swim. I would swim over there. And I would go up and I would say, hello, I'm Louie. How are you? Nice to meet you. And then I would grab their heads and I would hold them under the water like this, like this. Yeah,
Louie, you are one sick lizard.
Excuse me, think your disposable razor shaves as comfortably as his Gillette Sensor XL? Yeah. Well, try Sensor XL. It'll change your mind. After one shave with Sensor XL, we bet you don't go back. Because only Sensor XL has protective microfins for extra comfort. Whoa. And self-adjusting blades for extra closeness. Disposables don't, and Sensor XL gives more shaves per blade than any disposable.
Excuse me.
Take the Sensor XL challenge. Bet you don't go back to disposables.
Hey, I want my Sensor XL back. Hey, hey!
It's time to set the record straight on resale value. In full-size pickups, there can only be one king of the hill. There is, and his name is Chevy. Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Long live the king.
Enjoy it while you can, hotshots. Your days are numbered.
Louie,
I know a lot of predators.
lower your voice.
I'm very friendly with the snakes, and I know several very large ferrets.
NASDAQ College Football on CBS is sponsored by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. The NASDAQ Stock Market. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better.
The 61-yard touchdown run by Fred Taylor has put Florida back on top. Taylor over 100 yards rushing for the game, 114. His 8th game this season with 100 yards rushing or more. Jermaine Stringer took a line drive kickoff from Robbie Stevenson. Stringer still on his feet. And out to the 26-yard line. 3 rushing touchdowns today for Taylor, giving him 30 rushing touchdowns for his career.
And Sean, we talked at the beginning of the telecast, if the Florida offensive line could punch some holes in that defense of Florida State and give Fred Taylor a little room, he'd influence the game. And sure enough, he's got Florida right in the heart of this thing.
That was also the longest run given up by the Florida State defense this season.
A lot of what Florida has done offensively is a carbon copy of the Sugar Bowl. A lot of it. Not all of it, but a lot of it.
Davey Ford now in a tailback. He takes the handoff from Busby, and they finally snuff out that play. Ed Chester. Today's aerial shots being provided by the Bud One airship, which reminds you that fresh beer tastes better. Fortunately, no sign of the late afternoon or early evening rain that was forecast for this area. And a beautiful day. Florida with the rushing edge. Bear in mind the team that has won this game in the 90s. And all but one game outrushed the other. That pass snuffed out immediately. Marvin Minnis hit by Elijah Williams. And it'll be 3rd down and 10 as that play got back to the 26-yard line.
Boy, you just can't believe the momentum. You know, Florida State comes out, opens the second half with a very impressive drive, gets some points on the scoreboard. Florida comes roaring back, gets that big run, and now that Florida defense is on fire. They are cranked. You know, Florida State's the #1 team in the country in the coaches poll. They're going to have to respond. They've got to answer it and come back.
There's a louder stadium in the country. We have not heard it. Busby throws, has a man. E.G. Green into Florida territory with a first down. All the way to the 38, tackled by Fred Weary. 36 yards on the pass to Green.
E.G. Green, he's been in the slot in their 3 wide receiver set all day long. He runs down the field and then breaks outside to the boundary, and the Florida defense just had a break in the coverage. It looked like the strong safety, Tony George, broke the coverage.
Busby on the design rollout pass, deflected, still caught by Warwick. And he's tackled at the 30-yard line, a gain on the play of 8 yards. Mike Moulton got a hand on the pass, but Warwick was still able to make the catch, and he did well to hang on to the football as he was taken down awkwardly.
Thad Busby's only had 1 interception today, but he's been lucky on 3 other occasions that the ball wasn't intercepted, this being one of them.
Travis Minor back in at tailback. One of the attributes of Busby the coaches admire most, he does not get rattled. Tremendous poise. He's shown that again today, that Minor couldn't get loose. Mike Harris made the tackle. Coach, Florida State has run that play a lot. It looks like Florida's onto it now.
Well, after a while, you've got to be able to change things up a little bit in the shotgun formation. One of the problems with the shotgun, it's the best throwing formation probably around, but it does limit your selection of running plays. You can run the ball effectively, but your selection is limited. And you're right, Florida State has run that play an awful lot today. Now it's recognition. Mike Harris saw that play and reacted to it.
Loss on the play, back to the 32. 3rd down, a long 4, almost 5. They pitch it to Green. Green turns the corner and goes out of bounds with a first down at the 23-yard line, tackled by Mike Peterson.
Well, E.G. Green is trying to match Jaquez Green for Florida. I mean, they're running the reverses, they're catching balls. E.G. comes from the slot again. They line him up in here, so he matches up there, and they just run the reverse this way to him with all the flow.
And they ran it off that play that we were just talking
Absolutely.
about. Well set up, because Florida was onto that play the way they had been running it.
John, when you play against Florida State, you can bet off of every running play, there's a counter, either a counter pass or a reverse. Off of every one they do.
Single coverage at the top of your picture. Busby, Thad Busby looks in that direction and throws incomplete. Green well covered by Elijah Williams. Florida, as it will do, left the corners one-on-one. And Williams made the play, and Green needs a breather on this humid evening.
There's an example of those 2 wide receivers going onto the field that we talked about. 7 or 8 wide receivers playing for Florida State. What they hope to do is in the 4th quarter, those 2 corners, they hope to wear them down and have fatigue set in.
Well, he has to be tired because we're tired just watching this. Jermaine Stringer has replaced Green. 2nd and 10. Draw, didn't go anywhere. Late flag thrown. Reggie McGrew made the tackle. But there is a flag down.
This might be offsides on Florida. It's hard to know, but the line judge who called it has a view of all the defensive linemen as they line up on the ball.
I think I'd like to play poker with Steve Spurrier. Wouldn't be tough to tell when he has a good hand or a bad hand.
You know what? He's such a fierce competitor, though. That's what makes him the coach that he is. This guy, he's a perfectionist, and he competes on every down of a game. He wants to know who is it, who lined up offside. Sometimes the coaches won't tell you either because they know as a head coach you're gonna might yank him out of the game. So sometimes we don't know, coach. We don't know. I've heard that in my career.
That's a big play. Now it's 2nd and 5. Florida State down by 5 points. 5.5 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Minor got hit and stayed on his feet. Touchdown, Travis Minor, what a run. He bounced off Tico Brown at the line of scrimmage. picked it back up, and he was off to the races untouched thereafter.
Well, Kevin Long, the center for Florida State, makes a great block, as does 32, Khalib Abdullah. And that's why tailbacks are able to run like this. They get blocking from the front, the middle of that offensive line, and from those fullbacks. Travis Minor, what a night for a freshman.
And they're going to go for two, trying to make it a 3-point lead. Right now it's a 1-point lead for the Noles. Play clock down to 7 and a timeout called by Florida State. We'll return for the 2-point try in a moment.
A company most people never heard of is changing the way we fight cancer and kidney failure. By inducing the body to produce blood cells, chemotherapy and anemia patients are gaining new strength. Helping to grow blood cells helped Amgen become the world's largest biotech company. Where do you learn about companies with such pioneering spirit? Exactly. NASDAQ.com.
I got a special treat for you.
Thank you, Mommy.
You're welcome. Now, don't be late, honey.
Good news. Reese's Nutrageous bars are now 20% bigger.
Be active, but beware. Use an ordinary stick antiperspirant, you get flaky white stuff. Until now, Gillette introduces Clear Stick. A clear advantage against odor and wetness. Gillette Clear Stick. Or try cool, refreshing clear gel.
Mark, if you're at the airport before my 8 o'clock flight, maybe we can talk. Otherwise, it's over.
Come on. Come on. I'll start. Oh, no. That's battery.
No matter what my customers drive, they depend on AC Delco batteries. They last up to 30% longer.
I'm sure they do. Just give me the generic equivalent, okay?
AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
For non-stop college football, breaking news, scores, highlights, and complete stats for all Division 1A teams, get it on the net at cbs.sportsline.com.
Back live at the Swamp. Back and forth we go. 3 possessions in the second half. Florida State has had it twice and has scored 2 touchdowns. Florida's had it once and has scored a touchdown. Now Florida State goes for 2.
Sean, you have 2 big play guys, Peter Warrick, number 9, and E.G. Green, 19. They've been the guys all year.
To the short side, Minor slipped and couldn't pick it back up again. Keith Kelsey wrapped him up. So we haven't seen a successful try for 2 in this game. Florida's gone for it twice without success. And now Florida State is denied. But it was an impressive drive, 8 plays, 74 yards, and Minor scored the touchdown on the run from 18 yards away.
Well, the block of the fullback on the touchdown run was so critical, and the center, 51, he's the guy right there, Kevin Long. Watch his block, and now watch the fullback isolate right there on the linebacker. Those are the guys that create those creases in the defense. There's a missed tackle there by Tico Brown, and all of a sudden it's touchdown for Florida State.
Travis Minor was the National High School Offensive Player of the Year selected by USA Today last year as a senior at Catholic High School in Baton Rouge. As we mentioned, the same school that produced Warrick Dunn, Florida State's all-time leading rusher. Rushing yardage has been the barometer. And today, they're dead even. And on the scoreboard, separated by just 1 point.
Oh, what a game. You know, I really didn't anticipate either team would have quite the success that they've had running the ball. I thought it would be more of an aerial show for both teams, but both teams have worked at running the ball. They've given their backs plenty of chances to try and generate some rushing yardage.
Sebastian Janikowski. Not as deep. He might be getting a little leg weary, although it was about 3 or 4 yards deep and bobbled by Carroll and alertly downed, and then a shot taken as Elijah Williams came over. Brian Allen gave him a pop. Well, it was close enough apparently that the officials don't flag it.
Pretty doggone close right here. The whistle had blown clearly. I heard the whistle. I think that should have been a late hit. My judgment, I heard the whistle all the way up here. I think he could have pulled off.
Time of possession dramatically in favor of Florida State. But this game is starting to resemble a game in which the team that has the ball last is going to win. They're matching each other score for score. Brandeis opens at quarterback on this possession. They fake the reverse to Green, and Fred Taylor's dumped for a loss of a yard back to the 19-yard line. Tomorrow night on CBS, an outstanding program from the Hallmark Hall of Fame. They thought he couldn't hear anything, so they told him everything. Matthew Modine, Tom Skerritt, and James Earl Jones star in a world premiere movie, What the Deaf Man Heard. CBS Sunday.
You know, Sean, Andre Wadsworth, the great All-American the defensive end for Florida State, he's matched up there against Mo Collins. Mo Collins is doing a great job on him.
Doug Johnson's pass caught by Jacquez Green, sprained ankle and all. He's out to the 29-yard line, 1 yard short of a first down. The tackle made by Tay Cody, the redshirt freshman corner. Steve Spurrier said Green had to have a big day, and he is. Quarterback sneak. Johnson, the keeper, and all he needed to do was reach the 30-yard line, which he did. And it's a first down for Florida. The clock will run under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter when they reset the chains. There's Wadsworth, one of the 4 finalists for the Lombardi Award, along with Andy Katzenmoyer, Grant Wistrom, Greg Ellis. Brandeis, the quarterback. This time he does pitch it to Jacquez Green. Green knocked down to the 34. Looked like a promising play for Florida when he took the pitch, but Samari Roll held his ground and rolled Green to the ground.
Boy, it really did, Sean, look like there was all kinds of room to make a big play, and the Florida State defense just closed with great speed. And you wonder, too, about Jacquez Green's ankle, how much that maybe slowed him down on this particular play. But the defense really converged on the ball, and you see noticeably he's limping there.
Yep. Roll, there's the number 2, once worn by Deion Sanders at Florida State, made the stop. That number has been retired in honor of Sanders, but Deion gave Roll his blessing to wear it until his career is over. Johnson back at quarterback. Nafis Kareem has replaced Green. The pass thrown to Kareem, caught, first down. Out to the 46-yard line. Apparently Johnson thought he took a late hit. He was barking in the face of the referee, Terry McCauley, after he got up.
He felt like Greg Spires, number 90, hit him late. He let the official know about it. Once that ball's released, the quarterback should be protected.
Oh, he got face mask.
Face mask. That's what it was.
Well, there's no question about that. Noah Brandeis back at quarterback. Florida down by a point. Gators led by a point at halftime. Brandeis hit as he threw, and there's a battle for the ball, and it is caught by Nafis Kareem. Brandeis belted by Lamont Green, but he got the ball off with just enough on it to give him a first down on the completion, and a nice catch as Kareem won the battle.
Well, Kareem just ran a little curl route, and the ball was pretty well thrown. He did a great job adjusting to it, but Lamont Green just lowered the boom on Brandeis. He came unblocked.
And it's starting to resemble games in recent years in which Florida quarterbacks took a lot of hits. Nothing wrong with the hit Brandeis just took. Taylor trying to turn the corner, uses the stiff arm and turned it into a gain of a couple. Shevin Smith rode him out at the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 3. And as Terry mentioned at the top of the telecast, only 2 quarterbacks who have started a game against Florida State have finished the game. 6 have been knocked out due to injury. 2 others left due to ineffectiveness, although Ryan Clement also had an injured finger. in Miami's big loss against Florida State. Jaquez Green back on the field, as is Doug Johnson at quarterback on 2nd and 7. Johnson looking deep, incomplete. Looking for Travis Taylor, a true freshman. And he was covered by a redshirt freshman, Tay Cody. Unusual target for the Gators, as Travis Taylor has 1 catch this year.
You know, Sean, this is just amazing. We're sitting here watching this game, and it's a great game. And Steve Spurrier he's shuttling quarterbacks in and out like wide receivers or running backs or guards or something, you know, and that's a chapter out of the book. Most people, conventional thinking would be you just don't do that. But sure enough, he feels like each guy has a chance to do something to help him win.
Brandeis back at quarterback on 3rd down and 7 from the 40 of Florida State. Bryant leveled Brandeis, and the pass well off the mark between Taylor and Green. Tay Cody of the coverage on Green, and Brandeis got walloped by Tony Bryant, the junior from Marathon, Florida.
Zach Pillar, number 69, the left tackle's the one that got beat, and sure enough, Tony Bryant just came in there and really laid the wood on that guy.
And a lot of those hurries and knockdowns have been on this drive.
But not a sack on the whole afternoon.
Steve Spurrier going for it on 4th down and 7 at the 40-yard line. They're 1 for 1 on 4th down today. That was on the opening drive of the game. Johnson throws, dropped. It looked like Chevin Smith would pick it off, but it went right through him, and Travis McGriff couldn't hold it. McGriff might have been distracted by the fact that the ball whizzed right by Chevin Smith, and perhaps Smith got a piece of it en route.
I don't think there's any question, Sean, what happened. Chevin Smith, as you said, almost intercepts this ball, and it blocked McGriff's vision. Right there it came across, and he didn't get his eyes around, and it hit him. The Florida offensive line did a great job giving the quarterback plenty of protection time.
He definitely deflected it, as you saw in that replay. And McGriff couldn't adjust quickly enough. So Florida State takes over with excellent field position. A lot of coaches would have punted that ball, but not Steve Spurrier. Busby sacked way back at the 24-yard line. That's the first sack of the game, and it comes from Johnny Rutledge.
Johnny Rutledge, the inside linebacker, scraped. Florida State moved the quarterback out. They sprinted him out this way, and Rutledge comes from the inside, contains the quarterback, and makes the sack. He's on a scrape move. He just keeps tracking that quarterback. The ball doesn't get released. He makes the play.
Credit should be given to the quarterbacks in this game and the offensive lines, because these are 2 of the best pass rushing teams in the country, and that's the first sack by either team.
And that was a coverage sack. There was just no one to throw the ball to.
Miner on 2nd and very long. Stopped at the 31-yard line by Rod Grady, a reserve defensive back. Here's Michelle.
Well, guys, moments ago on the bench, Bob Stoops was harshly chastising Tico Brown and the entire Florida secondary, saying, how can you not knock down Travis Miner? He only weighs 150 pounds. You've got to stick that guy. And actually, guys, Miner checks in at about 190 pounds.
And Michelle, Tico Brown had a chance to make the stop on Miner's touchdown run a moment ago, but I wonder if Brown is still a little bit banged up. We saw him leave the field after one of his own men hit him not long before Miner's touchdown run. That's a difficulty in wrapping up tacklers. The pass caught. E.G. Green way short of a first down at the 36. He needed to get to the 50. Mike Peterson and Mike Harris made the tackle on what will be the last play of the 3rd quarter. The first half was electrifying, and there wasn't any drop-off in the 3rd quarter. Our score, Florida State 26, Florida 25. We'll return to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station.
You're buying a car. You know exactly which cars you want and which cars you don't want. But there are still cars out there that you don't know that you do want. Recently, Oldsmobile has come out with so many new models, they might not be on your list yet. They should be. So before you buy, find out all you can. Come to Oldsmobile's 100th anniversary premiere and test one. Or call toll-free to find out.
Welcome to Packer Bell Service. And who's that I hear?
Jamie's a bit cranky. Listen, I'm having a little trouble with my computer.
Okay, well, one problem at a time. Put Jamie on.
At Packard Bell Service and Support, we can solve just about any problem. Packard Bell, the computer the world comes home to. Featuring the Intel Pentium 2 processor.
Feel the power. Feel the excitement of Cosby, Lord of the Dance.
Did you like my dancing?
You stank.
It's all new CBS Monday. For college football action, the address is CBS. Welcome home.
Can't follow your team from where you live? Now you can choose from up to 13 games a week. NFL Sunday Ticket. We've got your game.
Now you've got a second chance to see NFL Sunday Ticket. For just $179, you'll get the rest of this season plus all of the 98 regular season. Call DirecTV at 1-800-GET-SPORTS. C-band viewers call 1-888-NFL-0131.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila with the Craftsman Auto Lock, the latest breakthrough from Sears Craftsman Tools. How's it going under there, Stan?
Well, Bob, I'd be doing a lot better if I didn't have to waste so much time adjusting these locking pliers.
Use these Craftsman Auto Lock locking pliers. They size themselves and lock tight with just one squeeze. Set the top jaw in place, squeeze the handles, and Auto Lock locks tight automatically. There's no screw adjustment for sizing, no on-again, off-again refitting. It's all done automatically. Hey, it looks like the whole family's discovered Auto Lock.
Yeah, it locks onto these rusted nuts and loosens them with one twist.
And remember, when you buy from Sears, your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So don't wait. Call now to order your Craftsman Auto Lock pliers.
For rush delivery, get your Sears card or other credit card ready and call 1-800-843-1199. That's 1-800-843-1199. Or send your check or money order for only $19.99 plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Call right now.
From Erie, Pennsylvania, you're watching CBS.
Great scene here at the Swamp. And the break between quarters, the fans arm in arm, rocking back and forth and singing, and they've been thoroughly entertained by this football game. First play of the fourth quarter, a punt by Keith Cottrell. Jaquez Green running on a bad ankle. Pulled down at the 35-yard line. Sean McDonough with Terry Donahue and coached this Florida team, particularly the offense today, looking like the Gator team we saw earlier in the season when the Gators were ranked #1.
I think the difference, Sean, has been the offensive line. They have protected the quarterback. They've opened holes for the tailback, Fred Taylor in particular. They're doing an excellent job, and the offensive line has been nicked all season long for Florida. It came into this game healthy, and they're much better today than they've been.
And the quarterbacks doing a better job with decision making than they have been of late. And it's Johnson under center to start this possession. Florida down by a point. Taylor turns the corner and has room. Cuts back across midfield. Down in the arms of Lamont Green at the 43-yard line of Florida State, a 23-yard run.
Well, we just talked about that offensive line of Florida, and they've punched some holes in one of the best defenses in the United States. Fred Taylor just sees daylight. He sees the outside break and just takes it. Florida State didn't have any outside support out there, and good backs will do that. They always don't run to the hole where the play's designed to go.
Florida State had given up 40 yards per game on the rush. Florida up to 143 today. They have their backup offensive line in there at the moment because the first line is absolutely exhausted. Carroll stopped at the 41, and the crowd thought that Sam Cowart was a bit too frisky. And the tackling went on a bit too long, but there is no flag, and it'll be second down at about 8. Johnson, the quarterback. Bo Carroll, the tailback, lined up to the left. Here comes a blitz. Johnson dumps it off, incomplete. Close enough to Carroll that it was not grounding. Sam Cowart came on the blitz and sent Johnson to the turf.
Well, Sam Cowart wasn't blocked. He came on a little cross charge up the middle of the Florida offensive line. No one picked him up. He's right there, and he'll come right up the center here. Johnson did an excellent job. This could have been potentially either a huge sack or a turnover. Johnson dangerous there with the ball, but at least he threw it into the turf.
Cowart catching his breath. 3rd down and 8. Brandeis will operate out of the shotgun. Fred Taylor back in the game as well. Brandeis looking to the sideline. The play clock about to run out, and they don't snap it. There was movement of the offensive line, but it appeared that the play clock had run out prior to the movement.
Florida State needs to be real careful here. They've been very close to a couple personal fouls, those foolish penalties that Bobby Bowden referred to before the game.
Snap. Delay of game on the offense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
Sean, what happened there, Florida State lined up with just a 3-man rush. They were going to drop 8 people in the pass coverage. The first time that I've seen it today. They may have done it earlier, I may have missed it, but I doubt it. There was only 3 potential rushers, and the quarterback just wasn't used to it. There they are, right there. Usually there's a 4th guy or a linebacker walked up in there. They showed him a little bit different look and confused them.
Looked like Brandeis was looking to the sideline, asking
for some help.
Do you want us to go ahead and run this play anyway, even though we haven't seen this front?
Absolutely.
Now it's Johnson on 3rd down and 13. A minute and a half played in the 3rd and the 4th quarter. And again, there's confusion. Now they have to burn a timeout with the play clock down to 2. Confusion reigns for Florida. Mickey Andrews is the defensive coordinator at Florida State. He picked a good time to mix in a different look up front.
Well, he absolutely did, and I think that's what confused the Florida quarterbacks. They had some deep safeties back there. They may have had a deep pass called and didn't want to throw it down there.
3rd and 13 after Florida burned a timeout. Johnson going for it all, looking for Green, and it is incomplete. Looked like Roll had the first opportunity for it, and then it might have glanced off Jaquez Green. On 3rd and 13, they went for the home run ball, and Andrews' defense held.
Well, it was a great route by Jaquez Green. It's tremendous coverage by Samari Roll. He goes up for the interception. The ball goes through his hands, almost comes down to Jaquez Green. Tremendous effort by both athletes to come up with the big play.
Stevenson, the punter. Peter Warrick back deep. Stevenson under some duress went down. The crowd wanted a flag for running into or roughing the kicker. There is none, and it's a 46-yard punt into the end zone, a net of 26. Florida State with the ball and a 1-point lead when we return.
Michael Jordan is CEO Jordan.
It's freezing, it's quiet, but you get used to it. You grow to love it.
Snowfox 2-1, this is Snowfox base.
This is Snowfox 2-1. Then a storm comes up, and I'm the one who's got to get us out of here. And I remember who gave me courage. This is for them. For my mom and dad, who never missed a game. For Joe Sergeant McCardle, who showed me what it takes to be a leader.
Visual contact, Sergeant.
And for myself, who became one.
You're buying a car. You know exactly which cars you want and which cars you don't want. But there are still cars out there that you don't know that you do want. Recently, Oldsmobile has come out with so many new models, they might not be on your list yet. They should be. So before you buy, find out all you can. Come to Oldsmobile's 100th anniversary premiere and test one. Or call toll-free to find out.
NASDAQ College Football on CBS is sponsored by Oldsmobile and your local Oldsmobile retailers. Jordan, where every product is built to the exact specifications of number 23. And by Best Western. Best Western, across the street from ordinary.
Number 1, Florida State, leading by a point. 13-17 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Seminoles begin at their own 20. Busby upended, and he is down back at the 12-yard line. Chopped down by Ed Chester.
Ed Chester just came on a power pass rush move. It's just called a bull rush, where you just try to bull your man over and drive him back. That's exactly what Ed Chester does here. He just takes the offensive lineman, puts him right in the lap of the quarterback. Jason Whitaker, number 68, the left guard.
He treated him like a blocking sled there. Second and 18. Out of the shotgun, the inside handoff. Minor goes nowhere. That might even be a loss back to the 11. Javon Curse with help from Mike Moten.
Well, you know, Sean, we knew at the beginning of this game that Florida State had a great defense as well as Florida. And both teams have been able to score points offensively, but both defenses have certainly risen up and played well.
There's a comparison between the two defenses. Florida State defense ranked 3rd in total defense. Florida 10th. 3rd down and 20. Screen pass to Warwick. And he's down at the 17-yard line. Mike Moten and Mike Harris combine to the stop. 3 plays and out for Florida State. As you look at other scores, bear in mind Michigan is a winner today. The Wolverines were number 1 in the media poll starting the day. Florida State number 1 in the coaches poll. Cottrell with a good punt. Green back at the 41-yard line. And he runs out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Excellent field position for the Gators, down by a point with 11:05 remaining.
Best Western in New York City is conveniently located right in the middle of everything. Best Western, across the street from ordinary.
Ever think about taking the 1998 Cutlass for a test drive? On the inside, with leather trim, easy to reach controls, CD player, and standard V6 power, all for around $20,000. The only obstacles you'll think about are on the road. The Oldsmobile Cutlass, totally rethought.
Sony Trinitron. Sony DVD video, awesome!
It's one of the many combinations that can make great things happen in your home.
Next?
Any way you put it together, it's maximum television. Only from Sony.
They thought he couldn't hear anything, so they told him everything.
Do you swear to tell the truth?
I do.
Hallmark Hall of Fame's What the Deaf Man Heard, CBS Sunday.
11:05 remaining in what has been yet another memorable clash between Florida State and Florida. Florida with the advantage in the rushing yardage. Bear in mind the sacks take yardage off the rushing total. That's the reason Florida State has gone in reverse. They were up over 100. That pass is caught. The Feast Kareem takes the pass from Johnson. He's down at the 16-yard line. Dexter Jackson looked like he was in perfect position to pick it off, but Kareem made a great adjustment.
The Feast Kareem ran a little stop and go. He ran down the field, acted like he was going to stop and run an inside route, and then all of a sudden he accelerated. He'll stop right there, stutter step, and then take it deep, and he beat Dexter Jackson. If the ball had been thrown on time, it would have been a touchdown, but Jackson was able to recover at the last minute and keep the play from being a touchdown for Florida.
Had Jackson seen that ball a split second earlier, he was in position to pick it off. Brandeis now at quarterback. Taylor a tough run for a couple. Down to the 14-yard line. Sam Coward tripped up Taylor. That's a gain of 2. Taylor up to 142 yards rushing on 19 carries. Even a field goal would give Florida the lead. Bear in mind their field goal kicking has been a little bit wobbly this year. The toss to Taylor, following Rod Frazier, the fullback. Down to the 12. Darrell Bush made the stop. And the game clock under 10 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
Fred Taylor has really responded to the challenge of the FSU team today. He has attacked that defense. He's done a great job of punishing them, and as the game has worn on, he's gotten stronger and stronger. Had a couple turnovers there early in the ball game, but did he come back from that adversity?
A couple of fumbles led directly to 10 Florida State points. No backs in the backfield. The handoff, Jaquez Green. He flips it to Travis McGriff. Back to the quarterback, and it is covered and broken up. They had 2 men out there with Johnson, and Samari Rolle batted it down. All kinds of razzle-dazzle in that play, and Florida State acted as if they were in the Florida huddle.
Well, it was a double reverse pass, but the guy who really makes the play, watch the All-American end, Andre Wadsworth. He smells it out. He sees the quarterback. He studies him right here, and he just plays with him. He knows it's going to come back, and Samari Rolle comes over the top. Almost an interception going the other way.
Now Collins Cooper from 28 yards to give Florida the lead again. And it's a line drive, no good. Wide left. And it seems like when you're talking about a big game in the state of Florida, sooner or later, it comes down to a wide left or a wide right. And that was a huge miss by Cooper. As we mentioned, he's had his problems this year to the point where coming into this game, they've only attempted 9 field goals all year. The snap was a little bit low, but it looked like the ball was placed down nicely by Billy Young.
Well, had the laces turned away just like you want. This is probably primarily on the kicker. Steve Spurrier's reaction after the kick was really interesting. He just encouraged his kicker. He didn't go into any kind of a tirade. He knows that he has to come back and maybe kick one later.
Minor on the delay, a 3-yard gain to the 23. Johnny Rutledge and Dwayne Thomas made the tackle this week. Click on to cbs.sportsline.com. Make your choice of college football's all-time greatest rivalry. Select one of the nominees. I think choice D might earn some votes with this game today. I know you're going to write in UCLA and USC. That's not one of the choices.
One of the great ones right there.
Tune into our game next weekend. Find out the fans' choice of the Packard Bell CBS Sportsline All-Time Greats poll. In the 90s, there certainly has not been a rivalry more interesting than this one. And more important, 8.5 minutes remaining. Florida State leads by a point. 2nd and 7. Busby throws, caught. And where will they mark the ball? Right on the 30-yard line, and that should be a first down for Peter Warrick. Well, I know, Terry, you're looking at that score, UCLA. Steve Spurrier said if Division I-A football had a playoff, as 1AA football does, UCLA would be his favorite to win the whole thing. He thinks they're playing better football than anybody right now.
They're really hot. Cade McNown, their quarterback, their All-American tailback, Skip Hicks. They've got a kicker, Chris Saylor, who's an All-American. They've got some offensive weapons. They're putting up a lot of points.
Important scores today. Mississippi State was in control of the SEC Western Division before the loss against Arkansas today. Notre Dame likely on its way to a bowl. They can beat Hawaii in the regular season finale. On first down, the completion made to Melvin Pearsall. Tony George had the coverage. Can't help but think back to Steve Spurrier's words to Michelle Tafoya at halftime. I hope these conversions don't come back to haunt us.
Well, you always come back to that when you're going for 2 early in the game. You always have to live with that possibility. Coaches just kind of agonize over. Do I go for 2? Do I kick? We went into it earlier in the game. I've just always believed that you kick early in the game. I believe that. I learned that from an old coach a long time ago, Tommy Proffield. Used to kick early and go for it in the 4th quarter.
Second and short, a rare carry for the fullback, Khalid Abdullah. And he's very close to the first down. Appears to have it right at the 40-yard line. Dwayne Thomas drove him back. Abdullah had 14 rushes all season prior to today. He's a junior from Davie, Florida. Played in the same backfield at Nova High School in South Florida as Autry Denson, now one of Notre Dame's all-time leading rushers.
Kind of surprised to see him carry the ball. He's been blocking all day long, and fullbacks very rarely in most offenses, unless it's an offense like Nebraska's, they just don't get to carry the ball. They're primarily blocking backs.
First and 10. 6.5 minutes remaining. Busby going deep. Works behind the defense, and the pass is too long. He was behind Fred Weary, but Busby had just a bit too much on it.
Well, Peter Warwick beat him on just a streak route right down the field. But watch Fred Weary. Watch him grab the shirt. He gets beat. He reaches out, gets a hold of that shirt, slows him down a little bit, trying to recover. The ball just doesn't have quite enough air underneath it, so he can run underneath it for the reception.
It hit him in stride. It was a touchdown. 2nd and 10. Florida State leads by a point. Draw. Minor. Wrapped up by Mike Harris. Tony George and Javon Curse also in on the stop. And a big 3rd down coming up here. It'll be 3rd and about 5. With the clock nearing 6 minutes remaining, and each team in possession of 2 timeouts.
John, both teams today have run the draw effectively. The reason being is that both defenses are so aggressive up the field trying to sack the quarterback that you can slip a draw in underneath him once in a while.
Now the big 3rd and 5. Busby throws too high for Pearsall. Looked like he had found a seam, but Thad floated it over the middle and nearly got Pearsall decapitated by Tony George and Mike Harris.
Well, Melvin Pearsall ran right down the middle of the Florida secondary. He was open for a minute, but it is a difficult throw. This is not an easy throw. Anytime you're throwing down the middle, you've got those blue shirts close by. It makes you nervous, and that's what happened to Thad Busby there.
The true freshman, Keith Cottrell, has had 1 block this season. The Gators did not come after him, and Cottrell booms it over the head of Jaquez Green and just into the end zone. 54 yards the punt, but a net of 34. The Gators will begin at their own 20, down by a point with 5:32 remaining. Budweiser Blinkman, its eye in the sky camera, proud to provide you with these live shots from 1,000 feet above Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Non-stop action from the outset. Florida scored on the opening drive, and the pace has not quieted at all. As you saw, Florida's had some key miscues today. Turnovers and missed PATs. Taylor dropped it. It's a good thing for Florida that he did. That play was snuffed out by the Seminoles. Brandeis to the sideline. Doug Johnson back in. And Andre Wadsworth is injured. He was right there next to Taylor, ready to slam him to the ground had that been a completion. So he talked about the coaches poll, the poll in which Florida State is #1 with Michigan #2. Michigan took advantage of some key Ohio State mistakes today to win at home. Well, they're 11-0 on their way to the Rose Bowl. Florida State hoping to go to the Orange Bowl. What they hope will be a matchup with Nebraska and a chance for at least a share of the national championship. Michigan #1 in the writers' poll, and this time of the year, Coach, it's not just all about winning. It's about winning by enough, winning impressively enough. And I think if you beat Ohio State, that's a very impressive win. I mean, people who are voting for you should vote for you. And if you beat Florida at Florida Field, where the Gators have lost only twice in the 90s, even if it's by 1 point, you shouldn't drop in anybody's estimation either.
It's impressive both ways. You're right. And in a rivalry game, when you're playing against your rival, anything can happen. You can take the records, throw them out the window, because both teams go to a different level on that particular day, generally speaking.
This is obviously a long way from ending as a 1-point Seminole win with 5:28 left. And let's see if we can ascertain what happened to Wadsworth, who was twisting his head, indicating perhaps a neck injury.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he either hurt his neck or his shoulder, quite possibly, as he goes right there kind of late and puts his head down and hits Fred Taylor. You don't want that guy out of the game very long. You're in the final crucial minutes of this game. You need a pass rusher. That's the best pass rusher in America right there.
Wonder if he's a little bit woozy as he came off. Doug Johnson at quarterback on 2nd and 10. High snap over the head of Johnson. Johnson in trouble in the end zone. Throws incomplete, and he's lucky that isn't grounding. Oh boy, there wasn't a receiver who was eligible anywhere near that ball. And the Gators just caught a huge break.
Once in a while, when you're in the shotgun, the ball will slip out of the center's hands, or he'll put a little bit too high of an angle on it. That's exactly what happened here. Johnson did a fabulous job not taking the safety. There's no question there's not a receiver in the vicinity.
No.
But Fred Taylor was about 8 yards.
Not close enough.
No, he was about 8 yards. And, you know, you're probably not going to make that call in this kind of a game.
Well, would have been a intentional grounding in the end zone. Flag thrown, perhaps for a holding call. And that might be the makeup for the 2 points that they did not just award on the grounding in the end zone. Also might be a legitimate penalty, too. Face mask is the call.
I think what happened was 79, Mo Collins, the right tackle, got his hands underneath.
Grasping the face mask on the offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
I think he got his hands underneath the face mask of number 90, Greg Spires.
Yep.
Probably not intentionally. Sometimes on those power rushes, those hands just slip up underneath those masks. I believe that's what happened.
Yes, it certainly looked like he pulled the face mask forward. So now Stevenson forced to punt, standing at his own 5-yard line. Warwick waiting at his 35. 5:19 remaining. Florida State leads by a point. Should get the ball in good field position. Another high snap handled by Stevenson. Another low kick. Warwick started at the 40. Warwick with some running room, trying to get outside. Peterson forced him to stop. Now he reverses his field, and he's giving up the yardage. Now he has room on the other side. What a run by Warwick. He ran about 100 yards. The return officially only 18 yards.
The most amazing thing about the return, Sean, there's
flags.
not a flag. Normally on a punt return, it's always hard to coach. Don't block in the back. Peter Warwick York runs all over this field. The odds of not blocking somebody in the back, clipping or holding, you generally see a flag. This guy just keeps reversing his field. He makes a great athletic move. He's one of the big play guys for Florida State.
And a good block there by Jeff Chaney, number 24. At the 43-yard line of Florida. The toss. Minor with a burst of speed. Minor inside the 20. Knocked out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Mike Harris saved the touchdown, a 36-yard game.
Florida State runs a little sweep play here. They pitch the ball. Evans, he makes the block. Number 78, the left guard, and the fullback made a great block, along with Stringer, 86, a wide receiver. That play generally doesn't work against the Florida defense. They usually have you outside in, and that play, they got it outside on them.
First and goal from the 6. The fullback, Abdullah, down to the 4, perhaps just inside the 4-yard line. 4:40 remaining. Florida State leads by a point. Each team with 2 timeouts left. Of course, a touchdown and a kicked extra point would make it an 8-point game, and Florida would still have a chance to tie with a touchdown and that very hard to come by 2-point conversion.
Well, and what's going to happen, think about it, they hold them for 2 more downs here. Do you kick the field goal or go for the touchdown? Florida State probably kicks the field goal and plays great defense.
Second and goal from the 4. Minor, 141 yards rushing, gets the pitch, trying to get outside, bounces off a tackler. Brady had a chance to get him behind the line of scrimmage, but Minor scraped off that tackle and was taken down by Mike Peterson at the 2. Third down and goal upcoming for the Seminoles.
Boy, that was just a great run by Minor. It looked like the play was going to be thrown for a 2 or 3 yard loss. He just turned on the speed and just sliced through there, made it a positive gain and got it down to the 2-yard line.
This is the third 100-yard game of his true freshman season. Surpassed 100 against Virginia when he had a career-high 157, and against North Carolina. Lamar Glenn checks in at wingback. He's a reserve fullback. Third and goal from the 2. Minor running right, stopped at the 2-yard line. Johnny Rutledge, Dwayne Thomas, Willie Rogers, all in on the play for Florida. And now here comes that decision you were talking about for Coach Bowden. And it's the field goal unit coming on.
Absolutely. You've got the #1 defense in the country. But watch Johnny Rutledge in the middle. He just scrapes, plays down the line of scrimmage, shoulder pad square, makes a great play along with Willie Rogers, number 54.
Janikowski, a 20-yard field goal try. They want a timeout on the Florida State sideline. And finally, the officials whistle the timeout. Florida State by 1, trying to make it 4 when we come back.
You're buying a car. You know exactly which cars you want and which cars you don't want. But there are still cars out there that you don't know that you do want. Recently, Oldsmobile has come out with so many new models, they might not be on your list yet. They should be. So before you buy, find out all you can. Come to Oldsmobile's 100th anniversary premiere and test one. Or call toll-free to find out.
Get ready to get creative. Get into a Rebel G. Capture your imagination on film. Let Rebel take you beyond snapshots and experience the ultimate rush.
Cool.
Rebel G and only EOS lenses from Canon.
They created their microprocessor in 1971, and the faster their chips have performed, the faster their company has grown. Today, the Intel design is the brains behind the majority of the world's PCs. By the 21st century, their chip could execute 2 billion instructions in 1 second. Where do you learn about such fast-thinking companies? Exactly. NASDAQ.com.
Is this really John Kennedy's signature and Marilyn Monroe's signature on these incriminating documents? Meet the man who insists they are, Sunday on 60 Minutes.
Terry, it looked like Bobby Bowden used that timeout because he was considering changing his mind and going for the touchdown, but after the timeout, he leaves the field goal unit on the field. This is the same distance as an extra point, but from a tough angle. 20-yard field goal. Janikowski booms it through. And he's 3 for 3 today. And the kicking game, the difference in the game at the moment. That missed extra point on the first touchdown of the game by Florida. Kind of threw Florida's approach on every subsequent score out of whack.
Well, and there's no question about it that the lever has switched over to Florida State in terms of the kicking game. They certainly have had the better place kicking today, and this guy's had a phenomenal day, not only kicking points but kicking off.
He hasn't been in this country very long. Came here a few years ago while he was in high school from his native Poland, but he's learned some of the trademark chants and gestures of fans. Only 2 losses at the Swamp since Spurrier has been the head coach starting in 1990, and as you can tell from the graphic, both against head coaches by the name of Bowden, one against Kerry Bowden and the Auburn Tigers, and once against Bobby Bowden. They've won 20 in a row here since the loss at 94, have the Gators.
Sean, I've been in a lot of games during my 29 years of coaching, and 2.5 minutes on the clock is a lifetime if you're on defense, which Florida State is, and if you're on offense, really, it's a lot of time, particularly with 2 timeouts.
The last 3 Florida scoring drives have taken 1 minute and 7 seconds, 2 minutes and 26 seconds, and 1 minute and 39 seconds. So they have reverted back to their old ways of scoring quickly. In this one, 2:38 remaining, FSU by 4. The punt return by Warwick set up the short scoring drive. 2 timeouts left for Florida. Elijah Williams back at the goal line with Bo Carroll. And Carroll will be forced to down it. We welcome you home to America's Night of Television tonight on CBS. Tune in to Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, Early Edition, and Walker, Texas Ranger. That's all tonight on CBS. And we need to tell Jane Seymour she has a tough act to follow tonight. Number 1 ranking hanging in the balance perhaps on this drive. Could be a last chance opportunity for Florida with 2:33 remaining. Gators start at their own 20. Johnson lofts it deep. Green is behind the defense. He's at the 35. He's at the 25. And he's tackled at the 17-yard line by Tay Cody.
Came with the blitz. They blitzed their inside linebacker. Samari Rolle trying to cover man-to-man against Jaquez Green. What an afternoon Jaquez has had there for Florida.
63 yards. The redshirt freshman Cody with the big tackle that saved the touchdown. And perhaps the number 1 ranking. Doug Johnson remains at quarterback. Draw play to Taylor. Big hole left. Taylor may go. Fred Taylor! Out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
It's a little draw play by Florida, and Zach Pillar, number 69, the left tackle, along with Ryan Kalich and the tight end. Those are the guys. They make this play work. It's just a little slip draw to Fred Taylor. He finds that crease, breaks it outside for the huge gain.
Shevin Smith banged him out. Johnson remains the quarterback. Taylor the lone back. First and goal at the 1. Taylor to the end zone. Touchdown! They went 80 yards in 3 plays. Perhaps too quickly. Collins Cooper with a huge extra point. This would make it a 3-point game. Florida State could still tie it with a field goal. That one sneaks inside the right upright. 4th rushing touchdown of the day for Fred Taylor.
Well, Sean, I hate to say I told you so, but at the beginning of the telecast, we mentioned Florida's offensive line and Fred Taylor. Could they keep this game alive for Florida? I think they have today, and the quarterback play between Brandeis and Doug Johnson has been beyond expectations.
And Johnson, who was banished to the sidelines, yanked from his starting role earlier in the season after an off-the-field episode when he was out past curfew at a local establishment 2 nights before the LSU game. That game 2 days later was the first loss of the season for Florida. Johnson really been heavily criticized and scrutinized since, but he was in there and remained in there for that entire drive.
Well, and you know what's amazing to me too is the afternoon Jaquez Green has had. Florida entered the game and said, we've got to get him the ball, find ways to get him the ball, and he has lit him up today. He's been unstoppable.
Florida State has the fast break offense. They have a kicker with a very strong leg. They have enough time to score a touchdown, certainly, and more than enough time to get into field goal range.
Sean, no question. Remember I said 2.5 minutes is a lifetime if you're playing defense. 1 minute and 50 seconds in these kind of games is a lifetime if you're playing defense. Now it's Florida's turn to experience what that lifetime's all about.
Florida went 80 yards in 3 plays. That took just 48 seconds. Stevenson kicks off. It's returnable. Lavernius Coles did not reach the 20. Elijah Williams led the coverage team, 17 yards the return. Florida State has 1 timeout. Remember, Bobby Bowden used a timeout when he seemed to be pondering changing his philosophy a moment ago, and then he elected to stay with the field goal. Louder than it has been all day with the Gators on defense. Busby running for his life. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. And the clock runs. Three sacks for the Gators. It has taken the Seminoles a while to line up for this play. 2nd and 11. Busby has a man. Bad pass might have been deflected en route. It was intended for E.G. Green.
E.G. Green working again in the slot. He's the guy they're trying to get the ball to. Tony George, who's been trying to cover him all day long. They're in a zone coverage this time. They don't play man-to-man. He's wide open in that zone. Thad Busby just didn't get the ball to him on that particular play. Florida State's got 2 downs to make 10 yards.
Busby with a 4-man rush. Throws. Intercepted. Dwayne Thomas. Johnson takes a knee. Now tempers flare. Deafening noise being made by the Gator fans, and you have the feeling they're cheering just as loud in the state of Michigan for this play.
Watch number 52, Dwayne Thomas. He drops in zone coverage, plays the curl route to perfection. He dropped an earlier interception in this game, but he didn't drop that one. And Bob Stoops, the defensive coordinator, you got to give him a little credit. He's played zone and man all afternoon, and his defense has hung on against the #1 team in the country in the Coaches Bowl.
Florida State just used its last timeout. .47 seconds left. The Gators lead by 3.
Boy, when you're playing in these kind of rivalry games, Sean, just one little mistake with the ball. Thad Busby has played a terrific ball game for his squad today, but that ball was just well played by Florida. It wasn't necessarily a bad pass by Busby. It was just a great play by Dwayne Thomas, number 52.
The senior from Jacksonville with his first interception of the season. Florida State cannot stop the clock. Well, we said at the top of the telecast, if the Gators cannot defend their national title, the next best thing for Florida is to make sure the Seminoles don't win it. And that is likely what happened here today. Michigan will be #1 in both polls. And Nebraska will likely be #2 in each. Brandeis takes the final snap. And Florida still alive for an Alliance Bowl. A huge victory sealed by Thomas's interception. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Coach, you said this was your big game. This was the bowl game for you guys. This was it. Talk about the effort of this team today.
Well, obviously God's still smiling on the Gators. Quincy Green, Doug Johnson, our defense. You know, everything didn't go perfect today, but our kids just played their hearts out, and we got a big, close victory. This was good for us. We needed this one.
All right, Coach, we've got a couple of your players standing by, and we know...
He's something.
Yeah, he is something. Jaquez Green, you set up just about every scoring play today with big plays. Talk about this rivalry and what it meant for you to come up so big today.
It was a big win for us. We had a lot of disappointments early in the season. And, I knew me and Fred Taylor made a lot of big plays for our offense. Our chance to win was very great. I made a lot of big plays, and team counted me to make a lot of big plays, and we came on top.
I heard you come up after one big play just late there in the fourth quarter and saying, you know, that's the ACC over there, but we're the SEC.
Yeah, and the SEC had tended to lay down for FSU, you know. We're the same team that ranked #1 5 or 6 weeks ago, so we knew we could play with Seminoles, and we came out and showed tonight.
Congratulations on a terrific game.
Thank you.
All right, let's send it back up to you, Sean.
All right, Michelle. The ceiling play, the interception by Thomas. The first interception of his career. And he's a senior playing in his final home game. What a time to pick off the first of his Gator career. Here's Michelle.
All right, back now with Fred Taylor. Early in this game, you fumbled twice, and your friend Terry Jackson was there with you on the sideline saying, man, get back in there. Not only did you get back in there, you scored 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, my teammates, they stuck with me. At one point, I wanted to put my head down, but everyone told me, just, you know, count on the man up above, say a quick prayer, and he'll make everything work out, and everything worked out fine.
Everyone came into this game talking about the amazing defense of Florida State. You guys didn't make them look quite so amazing.
We knew the ACC competition not all that tough. We play a lot of good teams in the SEC. We just want to come out here and play 60 minutes from the heart, just all out.
How much does this make up for some of the disappointments earlier in the season, the 2 losses?
It's probably the best feeling you can have. I mean, it's my last game, so I feel great.
Congratulations, Fred.
Thank you.
Sean?
So many great stories. You're looking at one of them. Noah Brindise, a senior, walked on here, becomes a starter in a huge game, alternating with Doug Johnson. He was another great story. Green was Jacquez Green. Taylor was Taylor. And Florida went back to its form in the first 5 games of the year.
Well, as all great rivalry games do, they come down to the final few seconds. Florida prevailed against a strong Florida State team, and you could just sense the relief in the Florida program because they've really struggled the last 5 weeks of this season.
Now for Michelle Tafoya, Terry Donahue, and our entire CBS NASDAQ college football crew. I'm Sean McDonough saying so long from Gainesville, Florida. Once again, the final score of tonight's game, Florida 32 and Florida State 29. The Florida State Seminoles knocked from the ranks the unbeaten and the #1 ranking.